do for you to have like most, in my opinion, most really racist, backwards, far-right beliefs usually just come from being in a very restrictive environment for a long period of time. It's actually super easy to understand why somebody.
Yeah, why is Rick? I said Rick. Why is Nick ranting about Destiny? Wait, Destiny really just say, well, it's jump for because Mr. Girl is accusing Destiny of sanitizing Nick Fuentes doesn't make sense. I hope the bridge gets burned. I mean, it'd be a solution to Mr. Girl's problem.
Hate LGBT people, why somebody could be racist, etc., if you grew up your whole life never seeing any of them. But that's I mean, I can never prove that. But what else? Oh, the war. Okay, I don't know what it is. Well, Mr. Girl's fins or something else, dude. Okay, I love Max. We're still okay, even though he might not feel like it. I don't know why Forthon started banning Mr. Girl fans. Listen, I give my mods a lot of autonomy, okay? So I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but apparently one of the reasons why Hitler's army was so effective in World War II.
Ah, he wouldn't engage with Nick for a bit because of the Mr. Girl ban, because Destiny stopped talking to Nick after the Mr. Girl ban. I didn't know that. I understand it. Because Nick is paranoid, reactionary crybaby, constantly thinks Destiny has ulterior motives, and from the very beginning, he is a right-wing persecution brainwash.
With any LCK for the entire, every time these two teams.
Other responses as to why Nick did that. Also, Cherry, still inside of the chat. Yo, what's up?
Was because he didn't micromanage his generals. He basically sent them off and he said, listen, you guys do your shit. If you think there's a good attack, fucking go for it. Don't send word back to me. Just handle your shit. And if you fuck up, I'm probably gonna throw you in fucking Auschwitz. Okay, good luck. And that's what they did. And they were effective. What? They were strong. Hey! They did their shit. So you know, you guys see me arguing with the bear. Why do you ban that guy? And he's like, okay, fine. And I'm like, you know, you do your thing. The bear does his thing. Forethought does his thing. I just kind of like sit up here and I watch them. You know that Hitler lost the war? Well, you know. I know Mr. Girl said it's really extreme, but part of it should be attributed to you doing a purge, and before that saying, I don't mind losing you guys, Mr. Girl. No, I don't know how to say this without like sounding like an asshole, but like his fans are on like another level when it comes to like posting the subreddit. Like there'll be some shit where it'll be like, I should be saving examples, I guess. If you know, if you've seen the post, you know. If you haven't, you haven't. But there'll be some shit where like Mr. Girl will be talking to someone and it'll be like, I am gonna rip you. And then the other person will start crying. And like a Mr. Girl fan will be in the subreddit and it'll be like, a lot of the people here just don't seem to understand what Mr. Girl's project is. And that's to force people to have conversations that they're not comfortable.
What are we doing?
It's not his responsibility to be babying other adults out of their ineptitude and their uncomfortabilities when it comes to engaging in topics that are incredibly difficult. The onus is on the other conversational partner to express when they're not comfortable with the conversation. It's not fair to make that demand of Max. Like that's like I'm like, bro, are you serious? What the fuck? Or like after all like the Jesus, what was it? Like after the Stardust stuff, like people were like, oh, Stardust and Cherry, who by the way fucked up 100% of course. People were like, when they posted that, they proved Max right about every single thing ever. Like, no, they didn't. What are you talking about? Why would you even say that? Like, oh my God. It's Mr. Girl somehow makes people autistic. It's if you think I'm like a manic pixie dream boy, Mr. Girl is like manic pixie dream boy like on 20x steroids. I think that he has like the type of captivating like personality and disposition to like draw on like and get people to be like the most obsessive. I think it's just like it's just the style of it's just his personality type. I think. Which is, there's nothing inherently wrong with that. It's just, it can be very irritating.
Destiny is slowly getting banned from everything. It wouldn't surprise me if he gets banned from YouTube at some point. Wait, what has Destiny been banned from recently?
Something that he's gonna have reasons why he doesn't do any of this, but like this is just my perception. He made a really novel insight into some of Dr. K's stuff that I actually agreed with in retrospect. And one of those things was pushing somebody really hard in a 30-minute conversation and getting them to cry is not like a breakthrough. That doesn't mean that you're doing a good job at giving them therapy and now they've like learned something. It just means that you're like pushing really hard in a public situation in an emotional way to get them to cry. And then like afterwards, of course, they're gonna feel good after some emotional release. And he made that observation about Dr. K. I was like, that's actually kind of true. I do agree with that. But I feel like he plays off the same type of dynamic. Where it's like push, you uncomfortable, okay, push. Now you're super emotionally compromised, and now I'm gonna deliver like my very empathetic message. And it's like Jesus, but I feel like he does like a lot of the same shit.
Connected.
I don't know, it drives me crazy. But yeah, I don't think he's like, is he permabanned from the sub? I mean, I imagine I'll unban him. I don't, or I think I will. I'm pretty sure I will.
There is no salvation.
I don't know what Forethought is doing. He's permabanned.
He's banned on MySpace, I heard.
That's insane.
He got banned from Twitch. He will eventually give some spicy take on transgender or something getting banned.
Okay, you have upheld my ban, true?
I said
ban from your separate.
well, I don't even know. Forethought is his own entity. I said I doubt you're permaban. I'd obviously I'd unban you or something. I just haven't like looked at anything yet. But I mean, you're not permaban. Damn, that'd be wild.
I'm not permabanned, but you so far have upheld my. Forethought does what you say. You unban me. You wouldn't be banned.
Forethought is an independent institution. I institute the power to moderate him, and he does moderate himself.
Oh.
But like,
So you can't unban somebody.
I mean, I could, yeah, but he's gonna work so
You could. Okay. So you were choosing to not pick. Are you really gonna hide behind your mind?
When you say you are upholding his ban, it sounds like you're trying to transfer the decision and responsibility of his ban onto me just because I'm above him.
Yes.
And while it is technically true that I could supersede the ban, that's not what the ban. I don't think I would have ever banned, but he did. So the decision lies with him. Now, if you want to ask the question, like, do you have the power to undo the ban? Then yeah, sure. But if you want to apply that all the responsibility lies with me because I necessarily have the power to return it, I don't necessarily think that connotation is fair. But I mean, I guess to answer your questions in the way that makes you happy, yeah, I guess I would be upholding your ban.
I mean, you own the ban.
If it makes you feel better for me to say that, then yeah, sure.
Well, that's a way for you to not say it. So you're not really saying it.
I wasn't the one that
Once
banned
know,
you. I
know.
wouldn't have banned you, but if Forethought decides to ban you, I defend my moderators. Yes.
Okay, so you.
Okay.
Will you tell me the reason for my ban?
Is this a YouTube video? It is a YouTube video. It's not their stream. I couldn't find their stream.
Or your reason for defending the ban?
Yeah, I think his. I don't want to misquote him, but I think his reason is under the post law, Mr. GOGO, you let him war, and I think you get a snarky answer on some politics.
Okay, and what is your defense of that? Other than it is Forethought, he is my moderator. Why is that okay?
Well, I mean, I entrust my moderators to enact their privileges as they do so. Same thing with RTB. I don't usually question his manners.
So you don't have any.
God damn, really? That level of autonomy? They don't even question him? If you get banned by the bear, it's just you're cooked? It's like, hey, listen, man, hands off. God damn, I didn't think he had that much shit. The stream is up on Odyssey if you want it. I don't know. I think it's, I think I actually remember getting that, actually, now that I remember. And I think it's pretty similar length, so I don't think there's much editing.
Thoughts or investment or anything in particular? If this is just another ban, another guy.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you've seen any of the messages that have been posted,
If somebody wants to link it to me, yeah, but I don't remember Odyssey having good quality.
I was a little bit incredulous that he was banging as much as he was. I think I messaged him twice on Discord, and I asked him chat if it was actually really happening. Yeah, someone was doing it,
But not so incredulous that you would actually tell him to stop or reverse the ban.
No, I entrust him to enact his moderation as independently as he feels necessary. But like, I imagine at some point I'm like, okay, well, it's time to chill. Other side. Let me restate what I said. I understand that you'd like to frame things in your way, but I'm not going to let you do it. I'm going to tell you specifically that my moderators have a wide amount of discretion in terms of them doing what they do. And I even disagree with them. And there are times where my chatting makes funny for it. Like, RTB bans people like, I don't know, we should unban that guy. Sometimes I'll unban them and RTB will reban them. It's like, oh, fuck it. That's what the bear says. The bear has all of his shit in his mind for why he bans people and blah, blah, and I generally trust him. Like, okay, you want to do that? That's fine. And then same thing with Forethought. So somebody comes at me and they're like, did you really approve of like RTB banning me? It was probably, no, I probably wouldn't have banned you because I don't usually ban people off for anything. I'm pretty, unless they like go like hard on me generally. I don't like, I'm just not that active in moderating stuff. But like, if you want to say like, well, did you approve this specifically? I mean, no, I didn't. But if you want to say, do you approve of it? I mean, I generally approve of like what my moderators do. But yeah, that's about. Okay.
So beyond saying you approve of what they do, are you willing to say why you approve of this?
Well, I mean, the whole point of giving them moderation like deference is that
Okay,
I don't sign off on individual
So
actions.
you're not gonna make an independent comment.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I going to be allowed to say right now what I see as happening?
Yeah, you can say whatever you want. This is my Discord.
Oh,
Now
no,
we're in my
he's
world. We're talking
censored.
Virginia, I don't think, so.
We're gonna censor
I
him.
think you're doing a little bit of a good cop, bad cop routine
Okay, gotcha.
here, where you go on service, but you get to appear to be open to criticism, which I don't think you are.
Okay.
You get to appear to be not ban happy, which I believe you are. I guess you get to externalize anything that makes you look bad into the forethought in this case, and appear super reasonable. But you're not that. I don't think you are. I think you're pretending to be more reasonable and much thicker skinned than you are. And I believe this is the plight of the orbiter, where if you're like an action star is contractually obligated to win every fight in every fight scenario. You know, I can be in the movie. I can come in. I can fight with you, whatever. But I have to lose. And if I don't lose an argument with you, you just say that I did, and then just start gaining. It's just like I just watch history get rewritten by you. You get to just choose the narrative. And with this, I feel like this is what all we're fighting over is narrative control over me.
I think if you can establish that he's doing that, that would look really, really bad. Maybe... I really wish I had looked over more of this stuff to see if, like, what Mr. Girl's point might have been as to whether or not this was happening. But if that is the case, I don't browse Reddit enough to know if it is the case. If that is the case, then, you know, I feel like you can make it look really bad. I feel so bad for Rose. It's his goodbye stream trying to talk to Destiny on Mr. Girl being just like... I mean, I don't think Rose Risk feels bad about that. I don't think Rose Risk feels entitled to Destiny's time any more than Mr. Girl is entitled to it.
My biggest existence.
Does this happen to you as an orbiter? I am literally not gonna lie to you. My only information about what happens, what conversations about me happen on Reddit come from my girlfriend. That is it. I have no knowledge or understanding of anything that happens on Reddit at all. I hear it but secondhand. I do not get it. I don't know how people can browse Reddit on their streams and shit and just go like, oh, this comment looks pretty stupid. It's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, that is so... I just couldn't fathom it. Maybe I'll change. Maybe I should change. Maybe it's a lot of fun. But the times that I've done it on stream, oh my goodness, it is miserable. Reddit girlfriend, Elbro, you're telling me.
Your platform, right? Like I don't. My own platform is tiny. But you're saying shit in the comments like I'm brigading you or astroturfing.
The fuck is astroturfing?
Like
chat, what is astroturfing? Also, chat, quick shout out this time. Please like the stream. It helps the algorithm and allows me to grow a lot faster when it comes to having any kind of discoverability. Like I said, YouTube is the only place where I can actually get non-endemic people into my stream, and the way that that happens is through people liking the stream, through people talking in the chat, commenting, subscribing. That's the only way that shit like that happens. So please, if you like the stream and want more people inside of the chat or to join the community, please like the stream. It matters so much to me. Like I said, when I'm on Twitch, I'm pretty much just streaming to the same people for years and years. That's what it is. I have to pray for somebody to raid me in order to get any kind of growth. But on YouTube, I actually have a chance. That's part of the reason why I personally like streaming on YouTube more. I feel more hopeful. I feel more energized about the idea that I could possibly have growth.
What I said. You get to say what I meant. And anybody who pushes back on you, including me, gets banned. Okay. It feels fucked up. But separately, so yeah, I don't like being your orbiter. I like you.
Sure.
I love you.
Okay, so
As
let's
I said,
sort through a couple things to really be quick, okay? So, one, everything you just said is not
Larry.
plenty of criticism of myself that stays. There's plenty of criticism you've done of me that have stayed.
That does not refute what I just said.
No, but your statement sounds far more absolute than the truth is. The idea that like there's no room for criticism is just that's patently
No,
false.
you have to appear. You appear that there's room for criticism.
No. You're just wrong. There is plenty of room for criticism. There are plenty of people that criticize me there that haven't
Of
been
course,
banned.
you'd say that though.
No, I wouldn't say that there are. Do you want me to find you examples of people criticizing me on my sub that haven't been banned?
You have to. You can't ban all criticism of you, or you'll look like a megalomaniacal.
Cool.
crazy
Okay, so then we do agree that.
So then, man, that's a little bit of a tough argument for Mr. Girl there. Avocado Adorable. I think even if you own a Reddit or a chat, if you assign mods, you have to trust them and let them make their own decisions. Otherwise, you're micromanaging and basically doing the same work. Also, they can't perform unless you support them. Yeah. So my experience with moderation, I'm going to do this very fast. My experience with moderation, just moderating the Twitch chat. There's been multiple times that one of my mods have banned somebody, and I didn't really know why they did it. And they essentially said like, oh yeah, I've seen them in the chat, they've been doing this, they've been doing that. I have to some level, recognize that I put them inside of the position that I did for a reason and go, hey look, I'm not going to look through months of logs, weeks of logs, days of logs to be able to understand the context for why you might have banned this person, because usually it's not like a one-time offense unless they just drop the N-word or something. It's usually not just a one-time offense, but more of a prolonged kind of escapade of shit that they've been doing inside of my chat room, and so I don't have time to look at it, so I trust them. And I imagine this might be a similar situation to Destiny inside of his moderation team, especially considering he's probably banning a lot more people than anybody inside of my moderation team.
Some criticism of me exists in my setup. We do agree with that.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. So some criticism does exist there.
Tommy would never do that. Tommy actually fucking hats me and tells me why, you know, he wants to ban somebody quite often. He'll be like, oh, this is the reason, that's the reason, this is the reason. But, you know, sometimes shit has to be done and it can't really be explained realistically. And I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to sit in a call for 20 minutes having somebody explain, one of my mods explain to me why somebody should be banned over some random person in chat. That's just not going to happen.
Typically, when I moderate, what I am looking for is to avoid huge circle jerks, because sometimes those destroy communities. There are things I'll like pump the brakes on if I think that things are getting like a little bit out of hand. You've had a lot of criticism of me, there's been a lot of stuff said, blah, 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 blah. I think the thing that ramped it up, probably in Forethought's head, was him you declaring war on the subreddit, and then it felt like a lot of people from your community were like making these huge posts of like
I don't
defending you.
have a community. There's not a lot of. Those are all. 99% of my fans are your fans.
Sure, but okay, people making that in service of defending you, I think was.
Okay, but I feel like you're doing this no true Scotsman thing, where if somebody is a fan of me, they are no longer a fan of you, which is actually becoming true.
I never said that if they're not a fan of. If they're a fan of you, they're not a fan of you. That's totally nothing back.
You're allowing your mod to ban people just for being fans of you. He said, "I'm going to."
I think eventually, I think that's what. Yeah, I think that's what it evolved into.
Okay, well, so whatever, even if it evolved there, I don't have a separate community. You are excising me from your community.
Sure, I think that the awkward place that we're trying to struggle with now, and I'll probably have like, again, this is my first day back, I'll probably have like a more serious conversation about this, but the idea that like, you can use my community, or the subreddit, I guess, like, as your community, and then post on it, and then make suggestions, or almost, I don't want to say ultimatums about moderation as such. My guess is it probably triggered the fuck out of Forethought, and that's probably why he got really bad happy on stuff. That'd be my guess.
Well, I mean, yeah, I am making ultimatums. They're not, but
yeah, but it's not. But how do you?
Right,
But wait.
Wait, does Mr. Girl agree that he's using Destiny's community as his own community? Because I feel like that's not not a thing that you can really do.
Like what?
Like, if I wanted to go inside of Destiny's community and kind of join his community, and then, you know, of the community that I joined, there's people in there that, you know, like me, want to engage with my content and stuff, that's different. And maybe that's what he's talking about. But, yeah, to kind of like, I don't know. I had a great idea for Ban Appeal stream. The problem is, the reasons why we ban people feels too reasonable. That pretty much everybody who's banned should be banned.
Fucking basic human dignity. Like,
to tell somebody, how can you use basic human dignity to tell someone else this is how you need to start moderating your community? Like, it's not your community.
Absolutely. You can. No.
Or you're talking about ban appeals for Destiny stream? I would 100% do that. If Destiny's community or whatever, if like Destiny's moderation team wanted to offload some bans to me, I have a great idea for how to do that, and I think it would be content. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be enjoyable. I would love to do that. I think it'd be very, very fun.
You're reframing that, but absolutely.
What if they banned you now and gave the same excuse? What do you mean? Is Relly still reading here? Yes, I am.
It's totally fair for a colleague or orbiter of yours to say, like, look, I don't like how I'm being treated, and I don't want to put up with it. And like, I'm positive I'm not the first person to feel this way, and I'm not like I say I love you, but personally, and I have very strong feelings about you, like as my friend, but I'm not your fucking sycophant. Okay. And like, if this means that I can't. Wait 1 second. If this means I can't work with.
What the fuck? You left Twitch? No, I didn't. I just stopped streaming on Twitch because I'm watching people who are banned on Twitch.
With you, or I can't be in your part of your community. That's fine. But I don't want to be kicked around and be constantly redefined with your thumb on the scale of how I performed or who I am or what I say.
Hold on. I'm gonna have to go back over this. The point of a ban appeal stream, when most of it, most if not all bans are reasonable, is to read Schizo post ban appeals for content though? No, so I'm gonna let this loose because I think it's a really good idea for ban appeal streams. That's really fun content. I wanted to do something called the Court of Lawns, which was getting randomly selected individuals a part of the community. I wanted literally to just do a court process. I think that would be incredibly fun for ban appeals. I was spamming this in chat, but I don't think Tiny clicked it. He pursued it. What is this? He pursued it. What is this supposed to show? I'll read this in a second, but what is that supposed to show? But, sorry, yeah, it's like a thing where you have a jury of your peers randomly selected, you get a lawyer, and then there's a prosecutor or whatever, right? And you go through the process of, you know, showing and displaying evidence and shit, and it's a whole thing. I think it would be a lot of fun, because, you know, you get people in this example would be GGG, who get randomly selected for jury duty, and you just get a message like, you've been selected for jury duty, time to do your civic duty, and show up to this fucking random schizo Discord call to see whether or not this person is guilty of crimes against Skyrim and its people. I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Keffels does that? Well, she stole the idea from me, because I had that idea for fucking 4 years now. Rando, op saying, why Mr. Girl shouldn't do things, and Mr. Girl saying no, and then Forethought saying asters, basically. It's not like he didn't know what he was doing. Let's take a look. Let's take a little bit of a detour. I'm assuming I could show this on stream, right? RTBA? You would need to get people to sign up for jury duty. We just request people do it, and then we just keep requesting until we get enough people, right? I think that would be the idea.
Your team has destroyed a turret. Shut down. You have slain an enemy.
Yeah? Alright. Alright. To request to Mr. Girl and his community. To start this post off, I would first like to acknowledge the struggles of Mr. Girl and his community face. Mr. Girl is an incredibly controversial figure with and a ton of statements ending up being characterized incorrectly by his critics. As a Destiny fan, I can see this happen to Steven on Twitter and other subs, such as Vlog. I do not have any issues with fans taking to Twitter or Reddit to defend their favorite streamer, or at the very least present their words in a more correct way, the most correct way possible. With that being said, I do have an issue with the way that Mr. Girl and his community make use of the sub. To me, it ultimately feels as though Mr. Girl and his fans, just to be clear, I believe this is Mr. Girl's Reddit username, and his fans use this sub as though it was their own. What do I mean by this? To start off, there are an incredible amount of daily Mr. Girl posts, either from fans of him or Max himself. Once again, I understand that there are also plenty of anti-Mr. Girl posts on the sub. I have no issue with fans of Mr. Girl or fans or Max himself replying in the comments of his posts, but the creation of separate pro-Mr. Girl posts feels super cringe. To draw a comparison, I would feel the same way about pro-Destiny posts being spammed into r/Wash. Comments, why is this, like, edited? Comments in a hate post are fair game to me, but making a separate post about Destiny in another sub just isn't it. Why is it, like, cropped? To avoid this, I would request that Max... FYI saying no Giga Chad, too long didn't read, and congrats, or say that didn't happen to effort posts is a bannable offense of itself. Really? Just finished the new COD on Veteran. I want to remove you from my community. To avoid this, I would request. Nah, it actually, to be perfectly fair, the campaign for the new Call of Duty actually looked pretty cool to me. I fucking hate Call of Duty though. I absolutely hate Call of Duty. The gunplay is atrocious, but I think the new Call of Duty, I like the immersion. I think they did a pretty good job of like making it feel immersive, and I like the way they did the characters. I like the voices for a lot of the characters. I think it feels good. I think the campaign feels good, but God, do I hate the fucking gameplay. Anyway, to avoid this, I would request that Max and his community make use. I don't know why this is cropped. This feels really weird that it's cropped or cut out or whatever shit. That's really weird to me. To avoid RTBA, do you know about this? Did you at least like COD up to 4? I played Call of Duty all the way up to Black Ops 1. I get the Reddit glitch sometimes. It's not edited. Reddit is just sometimes broken. Oh, I think it was just like an entire essay. Wait, MVM, the text is different size. My bad. Oh, okay. All right. Well, I don't know. It is what it is. Worst case scenario, somebody can actually look up the fucking message or whatever, and I'm sure it's
incredibly strong top side that can run away with early skirmishes.
Yeah, and we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. You know, my concern is if Showmaker gets locked in under his tower, you know, if you get that push over to Chovy, the cooldowns are fairly long for Swain, and in the later stages, it can be difficult to get that hard commit fight. If you do get disengaged by things like the Azir ultimate, or if they can actually kite you out, knock the Swain out once he pops his ult with the Poppy ult, all of these things are big concerns for me with this pick. That being said, I am really interested to see if it's going to be Ignite Sejuani as well on the top side. I think against Maokai, especially when you have that pairing with Viego, it would make a lot of sense to really go for this aggressive summoner, and Nuguri is going to do so. So, you know, there is going to be attention up towards Dorian, who I think has been at times disjointed somewhat from his team, so they are going to really try to focus on this.
Well, we'll see whether the tree can survive. Of course, burning down the tree certainly does make some sense in my mind. My immersion well and truly in place. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Match point for Gen G. Damwon Kia trying to get to maximum games against their opposition. They haven't failed to do so far this year. Should be a possibility. And Chronicler, I wanted to talk to you about this particular matchup, Swain versus Azir, because this is something we saw in the LCK a whole lot of times.
We really have, and I think the Swain in particular is a pick that, as Damwon might be looking for a little bit of early aggression, at the very least going to sweep, try and look for warrants, unable to find. Has mainly been a counter to the Azir in the sense that Azir in some matchups, I think the Victor is a really good example, can still have very high offensive pressure when combined with a jungler, especially something like, as, of course, gotta get the checkers in. And the Swain, for Damwon specifically, with the style that they've played thus far, I think is a pick that works really well, because we haven't seen it this much throughout the entirety of Worlds, but domestically, it's been very, very strong as, Showmaker.
All right, everyone's going to turn up. Showmaker gets the information pretty quickly.
He's fine.
Yep.
But they're going to steal the red away, right?
Yeah.
You know, we'll see if they can actually do anything about this, though, because Canyon is starting on Raptors, so he's just going to give it up, because he already uses a smite, so for sure he's just going to give it up. He's just going to clear towards topside, I think. But now with Kellen moving over, they're going to be able to push him off, and Peanut sees the Raptors are gone too, so he gets the bad news. He's just going to be starting leashless and about 30 seconds behind.
And they also have to walk over this ward as well, so Kellen and Doctarm,
I think they missed XP.
Yeah, they definitely missed the money.
That's huge.
Yeah, this is actually a phenomenal start here for Damwon Kia, although, I mean, that trade didn't exactly go in Doctarm's favor, but he has Severum, so I guess that gives him a sustained advantage, not to mention the fact that Kellen's going to be there to shield him up. But here we go. Prime Gaming, by the way, guys, is giving away 150,000 RP to several lucky fans every single day of Worlds. Head over to primegamingworlds22.com to enter and make sure you put in today's secret code to get bonus entries. Showmaker lands the Never Move pretty nicely there onto Chovy to start things off.
Yeah, nicely done. You know, always when you are playing against these first strike matchups, you've got to be on point with that poke, trying to just chunk it off, you know, as frequently as you can. We'll see if Chovy can get the shove here or not. If he can kind of keep Showmaker pushed under that tower, you know, it is going to be, I think, a lot more difficult for him. But Canyon already hovering here towards mid, but bot lane again.
Yeah, that's a cleanse out already here. Summoner spells traded, though, as Kellen had lit him on fire.
And what's big here is that Lahens isn't level 2 yet, because while Ruler was able to get XP from the first wave, Lahens actually ran into trouble, and there's a reason why Athalios is seen as such a well-rounded AD carry, because especially with Calibrum and combining with the harassment of Lulu early in the lane, is I think Canyon still got the wolf.
Yeah.
Be going. Peanut's still only level 2.
Yeah, the Ragdoll Poppy not having the greatest time into the Viego this time. And Canyon just going to be able to take some shelter.
Look at this.
Yeah, it's looking good for Damwon in the early game.
This could be a double scuttle angle as well. I mean, Peanut's just going down towards bot, but like, where's the gank pressure? He does get level 3 now off the creeps. He leached some XP and hit 3 there, so they may not be expecting this, and they can have the wraparound and the collapse onto Canyon.
He knows now.
Yeah, the heroic charge is going to be able to get the stun onto Canyon there as well. The smite has to come through just to keep him alive as he dashes. Rule is going to dash on over, though. Could be a disaster. Vision of Empire flies in, and Canyon, he's like, where the heck do I go? How do I get out of this? The answer is you probably don't, as Peanut's going to throw a buckler at him, and that's first first blood.
Man, that was so clever from Gen G. Peanut, realizing he was so close to level 3, just goes down to Tri-Brush, soaks XP to hit level 3 himself. Without that, you can't actually go for that sort of a play onto Canyon, but Canyon getting aggressive there. He could have taken a free double scuttle and then cleared towards topside, but he wanted to take more camps away from Peanut.
And what happened there was Canyon used a Scryer's Orb, but didn't see Peanut, so he made the call as Dom.
Yeah, trying to turn this one on its head. Peanut's gonna come through. They have a control orb, but they'd already overstepped. Another buckler comes in. They get the flash out of Dom. And now Kellen actually finds some space for himself, so they will be able to keep themselves alive. Skippy available for Kellen, so he should be able to make his way out. G trying to fight back.
That is just massive from Peanut. You know, being able to get the kill, gets the first blood, then down towards bot where Ruler and Lehens were struggling straight up in that 2v2. It was going great. You know, you push back Dom, so they're going to be able to potentially push us in and reset. We'll see if they can actually crash the wave. But Dom loses both his summoners there. Now we'll have to play this lane a lot more carefully. Isn't necessarily going to be able to push this up, but Canyon here trying to deny the crash. And if Ruler gets caught here without a buy, when Dom arrives, it's going to be difficult.
Oh, they don't have vision. They're going to be looking for this. Dom isn't there quite yet, but with how far up he knows, there they spot him. Will be figured out here, but still, very good lane state here for Domoki at the very least.
Yeah, exactly right. Peanut is going to continue the invade though as he heads towards this top side. Should be able to grab himself the enemy blue buff. So Gen G still in a good spot, but as you can see by the gold, not really too much has gone awry. Glad that we haven't looked towards top side because Sejuani versus Maokai kind of goes without saying there, as Chovy, Vision of Empire, is going to do a bit of damage.
Oh, yeah, they do! You know, I think it's time to be Anglo-pilled, right? Because you look at, well, if you look at the financial institutions that are in control, and you look at, like, these actual networks, like you mentioned it, the City of London, I mean, I don't think that. I just don't. It's not my opinion.
I agree. There's a lot of blame to go around. I think the Anglos share a lot of it. But me and Destiny are based because we're both Hispanic. The Anglos, Jews, whatever. It will be us Hispanics that will reconquer America, right? Destiny. You
Absolutely.
And me.
We get in there, we make friends and babies with everybody, and you know, we just have that that ability to just get to where we need to be, you know? And then we're like stealth. Nobody knows who we are in society, right? Unless I see our last names. Otherwise.
Except for our last names, dead giveaway.
Travel, you know.
Haz, what are you? What's your background? Are you Arab or?
Yeah, just Arab.
Based. Okay, awesome. Are you Muslim?
I'm kind of like non-practicing, so I guess culturally, I guess that's a thing. But yeah, pretty Americanized.
Let's go.
But yeah, I mean, you know, the Destiny guy, I can't really tell. Like, sometimes does he actually work for the government, or does he just kiss the establishment?
Okay, it's not. I don't work for the government. Okay, they just pay me every month not to talk about certain things. All right, there's a difference. Okay.
Destiny, I'm loving that red shirt.
I do feel like these people kind of do have to have a handler, though. Like, can you really just do that for free, for like just out of your own plain, like individual?
I wonder that every time I watch your stream. I'm like, who's funding this crazy dude? But you know.
We're all such good friends. I like
you're modding it.
I like Destiny. You really are the mascot of this show. I mean, you got the memo. It's this red theme, politically provoked. It's all red, and you've come on with this delightful red shirt.
What is the red? The brown red? Is there like a meme?
No, I'm not caught up on no political subtext. I'm just saying it's it just fits the format. It's a red theme. The color theme of this show is red, and you've sort of as a mascot brought this wonderful red shirt. Just compliment. No dog whistle. No anti-Semitic dog whistle there. Just
okay, cool. Thanks. Just
pointing
checking
it out. Yeah. So hey, so what are you up to, pal?
Brittany signed me up to be here tonight for some fucking reason, and I'm just playing video games, you know.
Well, we came a little bit early, but it's okay.
Well, I heard my two good friends talking with each other. I was just interesting to see them share so much in common, you know?
Yeah, so what's the beef between you guys? Let me try and moderate this.
See, Destiny, he kind of signals anti-establishment because he's not politically correct.
Right.
But
he says nigga.
At the core, Destiny's pretty much an edgy leftist, right?
Leftist or
So,
liberal? What do you mean by leftist, sir?
He started to have a really big problem with me because I was covering the Russia stuff, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is dangerous misinformation." And all of a sudden, he went full leftist, full kind of like, his community was like, "Oh, we got to deplatform this guy. This is really dangerous." And he does the work of the status quo for free, and
so
he just happened to get really butthurt about it.
Yeah, Destiny, what do you have to say to that? How would you respond?
I don't know how much you've heard. So Haas has kind of like his political theory. Haas just like personally hates me because I made a whole bunch of short jokes about it. And he's
hey, we're all short here.
Yeah, but the problem is he has a really hard time like dealing with it. So basically, I'll tweet out a bunch of shit.
Stalin was short. Our hero, Stalin, was 5.
Yeah, no, I mean, the issue was that we were having a pretty serious debate about the Russia-Ukraine thing, right? And he started beginning the insult battle, right? And then like, let me explain it this way, right? If I were to just have ignored it, nobody would have focused on the debate. They would have just focused on the insult. So it's like, you gotta address the nonsense when it's being brought in, apparently. But I would have preferred to just have a debate.
So the real backstory is we were gonna have a big 2-on-2 debate, and do you know who Zerka is?
No.
Okay, there's another Twitch streamer called Zerka, and it was me and I think it was Dylan Burns versus Haas and another guy called Jackson Hinkle. And so Zerka tells Haas, "Hey, these guys don't respect you. You got to get loud, otherwise these guys aren't going to show you any respect." So like in the middle of our relatively, boring milquetoast debate, Haas starts losing it. He starts like screaming. And as he starts to get progressively more upset, my chat starts feeding me like insults. So like AK 4'7" and shit. And I start calling him names. And we basically just have this like 2-hour debate where he's like screaming, calling me a cuckloid, just a whole bunch of like crazy nasty stuff, that's above, the platform that we're on right now, of course. But that's essentially since then.
Wait, why are you offended by being called a cuck? I mean, like,
I never said I'm a.
It's a fair question. It's a fair question.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really.
Isn't that that's open public information?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, are you not one?
Not technically. I don't know if you know what that word means, but yeah.
Polyamorous.
It basically just devolved into Haas like screaming at me for like.
Wait, hold on.
It's a really good video if you ever want to go look up that.
Hold on, if I may. I mean, how are you not a cuck?
Well,
valid question.
Are you talking about like the actual like what the word means, or like what you want?
Like you're married to someone who you allow to sleep with other men. So
wait, you're married, Destiny?
Yeah, we got married.
You got remarried?
Yeah, remarried. Yeah, that's true technically.
Or double married. Twice married.
Twice married, yeah. You know how us Catholics do, Gotta keep making the
you're
babies.
Not Catholic.
Well, I grew up Catholic. Listen.
Are you an atheist?
I'm gonna reveal something here, okay? I'm gonna reveal something here I've never said before. I did not get my last divorce annulled, my marriage annulled, so don't tell the Pope. I think that's a big no-no in the Catholic Church. You're supposed
still
to do that
married then.
Yeah, but according to Jesus I am. Well,
do you believe in God? Do you believe in God?
No, fuck no. I'm like,
boo! Why not, Destiny?
Because it's
Come
boring.
on now.
Okay, listen, boring answers to complex questions are just not entertaining to me. Kind of like you guys over here.
Well, it's kind of a yes or no.
Dreaming about the deep state controlling all the societal problems, and that's the more exciting thing than...
They control Vosh's Burger King diet by funding it. My tax dollars are funding Impossible Whoppers for Vosh. Well, Destiny... what were we talking about before this fierce debate about the situation?
Yeah, I don't think I was really yelling. I think I just was turning my gain up really high.
Yeah, true. That did happen. I forgot about that.
It's funny. I think it's funny when people turn their gain up and yell.
Yeah, it was definitely. Honestly, it was funny. It was funny.
Everyone in my chat was telling me, they were like, "Oh, they're lowering your volume. They're lowering." I was like, "Okay, I know how they do that." So I went in my Windows settings. And I went to the sound, I just turned it up all the way. And I'm like, okay, now we'll be on a level playing field. But I went back and watched it, and I was like, wow, I was quite loud.
That was the takeaway from that?
Yeah, I mean...
How many times did you have to unmute yourself in that conversation because the moderator kept trying to mute you while you were screaming at us? Would you say it was like more than 100 times, or...?
I mean, it wasn't really that hard. I mean, I don't really know why there had to be a moderator there in the first place.
That's a good question. It seems like they weren't able to keep you quiet, so yeah.
It's true. They can't handle Haas. Haas is a real
based an actual American, not one of these political projects.
I think it's like
Vouch. Except that he's not white. That's the only. No, kidding. Kidding. He's real American.
No. I mean, I'm capable of having like a civil conversation, you know, but like when you start the insult thing, you're giving me the green card. And
it's true. It's the ad homs. You know. Destiny, you have a real problem with those ad homs. Got to watch the ad homs.
Yeah,
Serious debate.
Well, I can't help it sometimes, you know.
You got to watch those N words and ad homs. Such a handful.
Destiny, so wait, Nick.
Yeah,
I want to ask you something because this is something I think about a lot too. Is Destiny gonna keep up this kind of like liberal thing, or what do you think is gonna come of like, because I don't know, I mean, so like in the cultural end, I think the cuck thing is pretty big, right? It's gonna be hard to become based when you've got that going for you, but I kind of wonder, like, is this a new kind of like experiment where it's like you have these edgy liberals who are like, they defend everything the status quo says, they like fight the info war of the deep state or whatever, but they just do it in a dirty way, right? Like, is he gonna become right wing, or is he gonna stay? Is it gonna be like this new thing of like edgy liberal? And I always think about, what do you think?
I think he will absolutely become red-pilled and a reactionary, and I see him as my future apprentice. It's sort of like when Palpatine said, I have an apprentice far younger and more power, except Destiny's quite old in comparison to me. But I see him as sort of this future right-wing killing machine, like a right-wing Wolfenstein killing robot who will destroy all liberals in his path. I don't know. The thing is, on a serious note, I think the big difference is that he's not religious. I think that, and I tend to notice this, there is crossover. There's some Destiny fans that become Groypers. I think there are some Groypers that become Destiny fans. And I think the real dividing line is religion. I tend to find the people most susceptible to so-called liberalism are the people that are not religious. And I think that plays a big part in why people are liberal is they are averse to religion, and I think a lot of that is bound up actually in sex. I think what makes a lot of people atheist is that they have sort of deviant sexual situation, and it's hard to sort of accept morality if your lifestyle is built on sin, is built on maybe that would impose guilt. So I think that's why it's going to be tricky for Destiny, because he's got sort of like a sexual situation, and I think that. But I don't want to. He's probably got good reasons for being an atheist, maybe other than that. What do you think about that, Destiny? What do you think about all that?
I think it's pretty sad that a lot of people define I think that political positions are very far downstream moral positions. So when I listen to either you or other lefties or Haas or anybody else try to say, like, I think Destiny's going to become this thing, I don't know if that speaks more to me or to the people saying it, that you would assume that my political positions are going to be so quick to change because of either a disagreement I have with somebody or some platform I get banned from. My political positions don't come from the platform that I'm on. They don't come from the people that I talk to, and they don't come from who hates me at any particular point in time. So, but I guess we'll see, huh?
We're gonna destroy you with facts and lies.
There is something I always wanted to say. Well, you did get banned, so I couldn't confront you with this, but I don't think you're right, because you say things like, the left. I liked the left back in like 2016 or 2010 or whatever, right? And then I think to myself, and I'm like, wait a second, where's your line? Because aren't a lot of conservatives today, right? They're like, oh yeah, I liked society, they would be considered liberals in 1990 or 1980 or 1950. Like, where do you draw the line? Because, I kind of see where Nick's coming from, where it is possible you could become right wing. But I also do think it's possible there's this like new Frankenstein, edgy liberal ideology, Reddit, dark Reddit, I guess. We got dark MAGA and maybe dark Reddit.
Dark Reddit.
Yeah. Like, I think, dark. I don't know. I myself, I don't know. I don't know what to expect or predict, but this idea that, I just hold to my principles and I've never changed. I mean, we all know that's bullshit, Justin. You're going to change somehow, right? The question is how.
You must choose! Sort of like when Anakin as Count Dooku between the two lightsabers, symbolically, choosing good or evil. What's it going to be? You going to embrace dark Reddit, or are you going to embrace total national socialism and an Aryan victory? That's a joke, by the way. That's a total joke. I'm being sarcastic, but really, but it's true. But will you embrace the side of God and our glorious destiny?
I don't think I'm gonna switch over to being religious anytime soon. But
we'll pray for your conversion.
Nick, do you think anyone could really be like a liberal who's like passionate about politics like Destiny is, and like somehow? Do you think he's an atheist, or do you think maybe he's just worshiping the wrong? You know what I mean by that? Like maybe he's worshiping the guy below and not the one above.
I think he's just a materialist. I think that that's a philosophical position. I think he doesn't believe in the supernatural, because he's all about, you have a source for that, you have a source for that. Academic, I have a source from 2010. And it's like, but so it's a rejection of the supernatural. But I think my position on this is I just believe in the soul. I believe in the soul. I believe in the immaterial. And so that makes me, makes me different on that fundamental level. Before you get into like theism or monotheism or Christianity, it's just, Destiny, that's a good question. Do you believe in the immaterial or only the material?
I'm like a soft dualist. There's some questions around consciousness that are pretty hard to get into if you're strictly a materialist. But I mean, like, compared to like a religious person, yeah, I'm a hardcore materialist.
Well, like, so what does that mean? Do you think we have something like a soul? Do you think there's a ghost in the machine?
No, I don't. Nothing.
No,
like
you
that.
think we're all
silly, no.
chemical processes and things?
My position on that might interest you. I do consider myself a materialist, but it's a dialectical materialist.
Yeah, your position absolutely does not interest me, but thank you for taking the opportunity to... You were talking to me, but it's okay.
No, you can continue playing your video games.
Don't worry.
So, to me, I think religion is correct when it talks about a soul and all that kind of stuff, but that's referring to something that's real, right? Like a soul that's how the chemicals are organized. Does that make sense? Like, I don't think it's just completely separate from the world. I think our world, here's what I put it. There is no material in the first place. Like, what we call the material world is itself animated with soul and with purpose and with meaning, So the way I look at it is that a guy like Destiny doesn't really, it's not that he's only a materialist. I think it's that he doesn't believe there's any meaning in the world. He only thinks meaning is like coming from a man-made institution or an axiom or like logic or something. And I think that's where the nihilism and the kind of degen shit comes from, Like, how can you really, like, put it this way, like, how could a man be a cuck unless they, like, convince themselves in this convoluted way that, like, oh, yeah, well, morality or being a dignified person comes from logic and axioms and not from something real and out there and, beyond what we think is right and wrong. You know what I mean?
It's true. I think he's nihilistic. I think it's a nihilistic sort of hedonistic worldview. I mean, Destiny, these people believe that you're right, that meaning is added on, through man's it's constructed, right, by society or by man. But no, I think the world is meaningful. I don't know how you would prove that. I guess it's just sort of like a temperamental disposition. I mean, Destiny, don't you see a bigger story? Don't you see a bigger plan? Don't you see meaning in the world, or do you think that everything is meaningless?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's meaningless, but I'd say the meaning is human imposed, of course. I don't think there's meaning naturally in the universe, and we just discover it.
So if humans come from the universe...
I'm sorry, I was talking to Fuentes there.
Yeah, how does... Well, are you...
he's such a...
Would you like me not to...
He's such a scamp!
Yeah, I hope you're not upset about the cuck thing. I mean, I thought it was public information. Like, I didn't want to expose you or anything.
All right, now quit bullying. Okay. That's my buddy.
If the universe if people came from the universe, is what the Reddit people say, right?
Right. Stardust.
And people created meaning. I mean, somewhere along there, meaning has to come from something that's not human, right?
Why?
Because, like, where did people come from?
You don't need meaning to create people. We can literally go create people right now, right?
All right, what is meaning?
You tell me. You're the one that says it exists. I don't believe that meaning in the sense that you're talking about is a thing.
I think meaning ultimately has its reference in something absolute. So when we talk about the meaning, like, what is the meaning of this? it's pointing to something that's not it, right? Like, what is the meaning of the world? Well, it's not the world itself. It's something beyond the world, right? And ultimately, I do think that is an absolute. Another word for that, you can call that God, the divine, but I don't know how you can have a sense of meaning without that, without an absolute.
Is it a talent to speak for so long and say so little? I'm asking you a pretty simple question. I don't know if you can actually. I don't know if you can actually respond. I'm just curious. I'm just curious. Like, what is meaning? Why does meaning have to exist for anything else to exist? What is meaning? Can you answer that without like rambling incoherently for like? Okay, yeah. So you can answer.
Yeah, meaning is when something's cause and purpose is not itself.
You're begging the question. What is purpose? Why does purpose have to exist?
Sort of directedness. I mean, that's the Aristotelian view, is that things have causes, and this is philosophical language. I haven't read this stuff in years, so I'm not pretending to be the expert, but it's directed. We're set in motion towards something. There is a purpose. There's a why.
Which is like a fun thought, but there's no true reason to believe that's a true, real fact of the universe.
Why not? Why isn't there a reason to believe that? Because
we don't need a reason to explain anything that happens, right?
Sure. Well, yeah, we actually do. I mean, if people have an appetite, I think, for meaning, people
have an appetite for heroin. Who cares, right? We have receptors in our brain for cannabis, for pornography. Like the very naturalistic to assume that just because a human desires something, it either ought to exist or ought to be considered a good thing. Like
it's not about ought. I think what Haas is saying is that when we have consciousness and when we have information and we have this appetite for meaning and we have this human tendency to create meaning or project meaning or search for meaning, the question is, where do these things arise from? If man comes from the universe, where then do these products of man come from? If that's not in the sort of fundamental essence of the universe. And to me, it's like, I don't think that could be explained by evolutionary biology, because that's really the competing thesis.
Right? It could be that people that search for meaning and take care of their families and do that tend to live longer than people that don't, right? It could very easily
I just think that's such a tenuous...
It sounds bad. It feels bad. It's a thing that just feels bad. So it's like, but that's not a good enough reason.
No, I disagree. I don't think it's because it feels bad. Because atheists will... They say, well, I'm not saying you're saying this. I'm saying atheists say this. Atheists will say, I think it's brave to believe in nothing because it's terrifying and all this kind of stuff. I don't think it's about comfort or discomfort. I'm equally willing to believe that there is nothing, or that I think they're both terrifying. I think it's terrifying to think of a final judgment and that everything means everything. I also think it's equally terrifying that everything means nothing. I'm scared by the prospect of both. Because, people say religion brings comfort. I think it's actually a terrifying prospect, because, the idea that there's an infinite God and there's a moral God, and so we make moral decisions. An immoral act offends an infinite God infinitely. And if you're religious, you believe you face a final judgment and you're judged for everything you've done and said. Again, before.
Okay, hold on. This is a massive cope. There's a massive
No, it's not. No, I'm explaining. No, you understand what I'm saying? I'm explaining that it's a terrifying. That's a terrifying prospect.
No.
Hell is You don't think that hell is terrifying?
No.
Why is hell not terrifying?
If you actually study Scripture, you know that God is an all-loving God. If you're Catholic, you go through sacraments to cleanse yourself of original sin, to accept your place, and aside God, when you finally die, like there's all sorts of ways to redeem yourself from sin. Like there's all sorts of order.
You understand, but this isn't addressing the fundamental point.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that like the idea that the average religious person's engagement with religion is not one of terrifying fear. It's usually
we're
one
not
of
talking
great
about
comfort.
the average person. We're talking about the ontological position. We're talking about, you're saying that like, well, you're saying that you don't believe that evolutionary biology isn't a good explanation. You just think it's an uncomfortable explanation. I'm saying they're both
uncomfortable. I never said that. I think anything could be
uncomfortable.
Sure. It's like the question of do aliens exist, right? Whether the answer is yes or no, both of those are pretty quote unquote terrifying.
But the point
I'm not going
is,
to use the comfort to like justify or take away from some position. That would be silly.
And that's what I'm saying though, is I don't think that evolutionary biology is adequate. Not that it's not comfortable. It's just I don't think it's adequate. I think it's very theoretical to say, and it's sort of like filling in the blanks. How do we get consciousness? How do we get morality? How do we get desire for meaning? well, maybe the fish, when they crawled on the land and became people,
yeah, but like
those
anything,
fish live longer.
Yeah,
like,
but it's so boring to do because
tenuous.
essentially you're playing into the God of the Gaps on the other thing, right? So like you laugh because I say it's a fish crawling out of the water, and I laugh at you because you think there's a spooky man in the sky watching you jerk off and he's going to send you to hell for it, right? At the end of the day, like all of this stuff is ultimately epistemically circular. At its very root, I can't really prove that something happened evolutionarily because the genes wanted us to take care of our families any more than you can prove that God tells us to watch after our brothers and sisters, right? Like there's some degree of faith at the end of the day in both of these. The only scary thing is if you let that like foundational belief shape how you function in the real world. So if people are like not sending their kids to a hospital because they've got like some devout religious belief, then I think that's probably a bad thing. Or if atheists are running around murdering everybody because they think that they're free of judgment, that's probably a bad thing too.
Yeah, that's the thing, though. That's what I'm trying to say, is that to accept this evolutionary, psychology view, I think it's extreme. That's what I'm saying. It has to be taken on faith. It's a very weak argument. And then so the question remains, well, how then did we get consciousness? I don't think there is the original question is about materialism. It's not about spooky man in the sky. It's about, is there a material and is there an immaterial world? And what I'm saying is I don't think there's a material explanation for these kinds of things, for meaning, for morality, for any of that. And you have to answer again, where then does it come from materially? Like you just said, it has to be taken on something like faith. It has to be taken on a faith in some kind of postulate. Oh, well, maybe this is how it evolved from matter. And I'm saying, yeah, that's a very weak position. So the question then remains, how do we have consciousness? I think that consciousness is fundamental. It's fundamental.
Yeah, that's great that you think that, but you have no reason to think that, right? That the only difference is at the very least the atheist is honest about the extent of their knowledge. I'll honestly tell you, I don't know where consciousness comes from. Seems to be some process that arises from the brain, but it's not like we can see it. If consciousness existed in some other place, I wouldn't be able to show it to you, right? So that's a challenge to my physicalist or materialist. Sorry, hold on, I'm talking to Nick right now. That's a challenge to my very physical interpretation of the world, and I understand that. But I'll be honest about the limits of my knowledge.
Go ahead and define consciousness.
But the challenge though is that when talking to a religious person, they seem to overstate their knowledge about the world. Just because you have a book or a guy or a spooky dude in the air that you claim gives you all the answers doesn't make it so. And at the very least, I'll be honest that I don't know, I can't give you a good answer about where consciousness comes from instead of pretending that I have that knowledge.
Well, but that's the point of this inquiry. This inquiry, we're starting off from a foundation. I'm not trying to, in this case, argue Christianity or whatever. I'm saying we're talking about the material versus the immaterial, not religion, not whatever. We're arguing about these things. And so, are you at least? So you're saying you don't know. Are you open then to the idea that there is an immaterial, that there is, there are shades?
Yeah, you
reality?
Have to be, right? Necessarily, if you're an honest interlocutor, right? I have to say, of course, there could be something immaterial. How could
But you say you have to, with resignation. Well, I have to say that. Aren't you curious about this?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm super curious. There's tons of things, right? Why did life start? What is consciousness? Of course, there's a ton of but the investigations that religious people make are wholly boring and completely unsatisfying. That's
so as opposed to the investigations of taking psychedelics and drugs and shit.
Based, so true. That's so true.
You talk about religious investigations being boring. No, psychedelics are fucking boring. Religious hermeneutic of
have you done psychedelics before?
Actually, scripture and
have you done psychedelics before?
Religious literature is
so the answer is no. I was Catholic. I grew up Catholic. I went to a Jesuit high school and Catholic grade school. I can speak about religious experience. I don't think you can say anything about drugs until you've tried them. But
hold on.
I've never tried drugs.
What you don't understand is that...
No, you literally don't understand. You don't have the qualia of trying a psychedelic drug.
Yeah, I did, Destiny, because I used to also be a kind of atheist liberal too. And
what does atheist liberal have to do with doing psychedelics?
Because I've taken psychedelics before.
Which ones?
Mushrooms and LSD.
How much?
Once each. And I can tell you there's
how much?
There.
I'm curious.
There's absolutely
You have no idea what you're talking about.
There.
You're just making
shit
up. I know you are.
What am I making up?
You haven't tried any of these before, which is fine, but...
Hold on, wait.
I've never done drugs.
Hold on. Wait, how do you know I've never tried
Because I can tell by the way that you speak about it. Originally, you didn't want to say it. When I ask you how much you did, you don't have an answer.
The reason I didn't want to say it is it's
You're rambling. You're a demon mom.
Wait, Destiny.
Right now.
Why are you
it's a bad role model. I don't want people to
Hey, I'm the moderator of this.
Normalize it.
I'm the moderator of this.
Try to take over, bro. You're in charge.
Thank you, Todd.
Do you both believe in qualia?
Don't know what that means.
I'm sorry. When I say qualia, if we have a feeling, nobody really can know what that feels like, right? So Nick, if I ask you like, what does a pillow feel like? You can't really tell me. You could tell me it feels like a pillow, but I have to touch it in order for us to share. We can't communicate a qualia directly. A qualia is just like a sensation or an experience we have, right?
So wait, Destiny, do you think
if you can't communicate,
hang on. I have a question. For Destiny. See, it seems like, and this is, I guess, my issue with your whole deal is, you're so quick to sort of debunk and this. Well, there's religious people, and I don't know, and yeah, sure, I'm curious, just like I'm curious about some other trivial thing, and it's like, but you're being a little bit evasive. We're talking here about the big questions. Our destiny, for lack of a better word, right? We all know the destiny. We're all born to die.
Not to use the Shapiro term, you're strumming me a little bit. I'm not trying to say that like I'm not saying that like fuck religion and all that. Like I'm empathetic towards religious people, but my only issue is that when you make it sound like have so much more solid grounding than you actually do to make the claims you make. I don't blame anybody for being religious.
That's you're strawmanning me. We're just having a conversation about whether or not there's a soul and these bigger topics like consciousness, and you don't seem very high in openness about just sort of exploring these possibilities, these sort of abstract topics. It's sort of just I'm empathetic to religious people.
That's also what I wanted to get to.
What does that sense have to do with anything? We're talking about like, whether there's a soul, and you're like, well, I'm empathetic to religious people. It's like, what does that have to do with anything?
Well, first of all, you're the one that opened with the fish crawling out of the water. Okay, so
these people will be open about like doing like psychedelics and like all this crazy shit to their brain, but like talk about big questions, talk about scripture, talk about meaning, talk about literature, and it's like all of a sudden this is like the forbidden fruit and you don't want to go near it.
It's almost kind of like
they're creating a religion of sin.
That's well said. Yeah, you're hiding, Destiny. You're hiding. You're hiding, but we're all gonna die, Destiny. Where do you think we go when we die?
That's a terrifying question. Who knows?
What do you think? Is it?
Maybe we'll wake up in 1,000 years when somebody realizes how to reconstruct our memories, and we'll just be brains in some little computer program. Or maybe there's some other plane of existence we go to next. Who knows?
But do you think about it? Do you think about that at all?
Depends on what kind of drug I'm on at that particular point.
Oh, come on! You see, this is just such like a. I mean, there's just like this glibness. This is actually a very important question, I think. At least it's.
I don't think so. I don't think so. So I think that there are certain questions that are worth thinking about. I think that thinking about. I'm not attacking you. How old are you?
Me?
Yeah. Are you like 25?
23.
23. Okay.
23.
That's not a site, right?
I'm 17.
Yeah. You want to drag Mr. Girl in here? No, I'm just. Okay. I think that there are. I think that there are things that are interesting thinking about for a time. But I think that there are topics that can take hold in an unhealthy manner and occupy too much of your thoughts. And I think that like death and stuff that exists outside of the boundaries of what can affect our life right now, I think sometimes people can get hung up on that. Even from a very secular point of view, sometimes people can get very much obsessed with the idea of like, what happens when I die? Am I going to be stuck somewhere forever, et cetera, et cetera. If you can draw some meaning out of that, you think you can find a way to enrich your life by dwelling on that, I think that's okay. But I think we all know somebody that spent probably too much time stuck in like a black hole of being a little bit too fascinated with things or obsessed with things that are very much outside the boundaries of stuff that affects them. And then they get worried that like today's material life is ruined by some immaterial concept. I think that's not a good thing. Not that that's necessarily what's happening to you. But.
Do you think time is better spent, instead of dwelling on these like important questions, is better spent playing video games?
Well, I don't think it's an important question.
Come on now.
If it's something that's enjoyable, whether it's rock climbing or video games or weightlifting, yeah, I think your time is better spent doing things that give you a real material benefit in the material world, rather than being obsessed with like questions that I don't consider.
What's the benefit of playing video games instead of reading books like this?
It can make you happy. It can bring you joy. You can socialize with other people. I mean, it depends on what you play games for. With any hobby, right? What's the benefit of playing music?
This is just like a therapeutic kind of ideology, which is like.
Yeah, but life is therapy, right? Why do we talk to friends? Why are we on political platforms chatting with each other and laughing?
My life isn't therapeutic.
Yeah, we're all.
My life is the opposite of therapeutic.
I think you have a lot of fun. I think you have a lot of fun on the day-to-day, probably more than most people, despite everything.
I have a lot of fun because I love life.
Sure, exactly. Yeah.
I know life is fleeting. And I like taking it to the edge. Okay, I'm fanatical. I'm extreme. I'm not about therapy.
I mean, you say that, but listen, you enjoy these programs. Haas enjoys streaming to 150 people. Like we've all got the things that we like in life. I'm like
Taxi Driver or the Joker. I'm like the Joker, Destiny.
Yeah.
I've never been happy one day in my life. Remember when he kills his mom in that movie?
Oh, that
But
Joker.
listen, that Joker. That's all. I speak for the Joker people of the world. And you're sort of like, well, you don't really fit into the bait. You're like just some NPC character.
Part of the neoliberal.
You know, because there's like this good and evil battle, and Destiny's like, well, I just want to watch the next Marvel film. I'm kidding. It's just a joke. Take it easy.
I do think that sometimes there is a... it's funny because you accuse me of playing video games, but I think that my engagement with video games is a lot healthier than your guys' engagement with what I would consider a game. I think there's like a collective delusion, a game that we all play when Haas gets on his stream and he starts talking about like the neoliberal establishment and the new world order that's going to be created with the brown-red revolution. Like, everybody's in chat nodding along, having fun with this, but everybody knows it's bullshit. Everybody knows this isn't about to happen, you know? Haas will be on his stream saying there's a revolution coming, you know, within the year, within a month, it's going to happen, but everybody knows it's bullshit.
When did I say that?
So I think that you can look it up in the last debate we had. I was playing Dyson Sphere Program, and I bet you something on whether or not there'd be a major U.S. revolution, I think within a year, and you're like, yeah, I think
I didn't say revolution. Wait, hold on.
You did.
Let's get the record straight.
But
I'm
saying that, like, when people are doing this, like, when people are doing the
I actually wanted to bring this up.
When people are doing the... Let me finish my one point. I know
we actually
really
bet money on this.
Insecure
back
because
in December.
I know that you're really insecure because you haven't spoken for a long time, so you
all
want
I
to get
did
your
was
word
ask
in.
you a simple
But
question.
I think that there is a collective delusion that happens where people
back
want to
in,
pretend that there's
December,
some
I
huge
asked you a really
story that can
simple
explain
question. I said
all
Destiny.
of life's problems, and there's this one thing that we can point to that we can all kind of rally behind, and it gives us like purpose, it gives us meaning. But I don't think that's a healthy way to engage with the world. That's what I would say.
Yeah, but Destiny, if you actually remember our conversation, and I'm gonna upload it to my channel because you were so fucking wrong, is that I asked you, I said, look at the inflation crisis going on in the US right now. Is this gonna get worse next year, or is it gonna get better? Is Biden gonna get control over this, and actually, are we gonna see results by next year that this is gonna get better? And you said, and then I said, in the long term, years and years from now, there's going to be a serious political change. I never said revolution. I never used the word. No, I think, next year, Biden's going to get a control over the inflation, and we're not going to see this world-changing crisis. It's going to change the system. And then, I mean, now it's kind of like you're in a pretty embarrassing position.
Is inflation mostly a central bank thing? What does Biden have to do with inflation? Most people don't know anything about macroecon.
Wait, but you said inflation's not going to get worse, and it did.
Oh! Let's go!
Like I said that this inflation crisis was not a small thing, and it's gonna snowball into something pretty big. And then you were like, no, it's a temporary thing just because of COVID, and it's gonna get better. And then
NPR told me inflation was transient.
And we were supposed to bet money on this as well. And you know, I don't know, am I gonna get that money?
It's not even worth anything anyway, right?
You might have to pay me in rubles now because
bitch.
Actually, remember? Wait, Destiny.
Rubles.
Oh, another thing, Destiny. Do you remember when you told me when you were like mocking me because of how like much the ruble crashed? What about that now?
Yeah, bitch. It's all about the Yeltsins.
I don't think
It's all about the czar.
Weren't you talking about how the rubles?
Hold on. I'm not getting baited into an econ convo with a fucking Marxist.
I don't know.
Russia's economy's doing great. The ruble is 100% legitimately recovering.
Yeah, Hey, if you better not travel to Europe, you have to wear a coat because there's no heat, because there's no fucking gas. The West. Listen though. Hey, listen. We're having a serious conversation here. Destiny, you know, your whole ideology, it's like so unsettling to me. Me and Haas, we're like real world, old world types where we're like gonna go. Haas is like a sultan. He's gonna go and chop people's heads off with curved swords. He's wearing pointy shoes and you know, like real Aladdin stuff. And me, I'm like fight and die for the cause. And you're this guy where it's like, no, just don't bother me on playing video games. That's not very healthy. That's not very healthy at all. I'm a well-adjusted guy. I get a lot of pleasure out of, you know, fucking talking to people online and shit. I'm like, oh, fucking debunk that. Well, that's why it does it. So it's like, listen, man, I'm trying to grab you by the collar and say, hey, let's live your life.
I think that in order to be grabbed by the collar by either of you, I think you necessarily need a very weak mind. Like I said, I think that for your guys' types of ideology, you're looking for people that are sad, lonely, depressed, they feel like they don't have purpose in life, and then you guys kind of give them a bigger mission to grab onto. It's kind of like ISIS recruitment.
Hold on.
I think that's the goal. The dream is to find somebody that feels like they have no purpose, no meaning in life, and rather than like helping them actually find it, you give them one through like a more radical ideology.
Hold on, Destiny. What do you think
I'll let Haas go.
Yeah,
I'm the moderator here.
Yeah.
What do you think what do you think about the average DGG? Are those well-adjusted, happy, wholesome people? I mean, I kind of think
more so than like anybody in your audience. Yeah, for sure.
I don't think so. I've seen your people in person, Destiny. I don't think that's
You've seen what
true.
when you were meekly shaking their hands and smiling with them and asking for pictures?
Yeah, they were being polite. They were coming up to me, asking me for pictures.
And what a polite
autographs
person
and
is
stuff.
what? A sign of a weak person? Is that because you're an alpha male? You
He
think you have
is
to-
all I'm saying,
like just what you're
He is
saying
an
right
alpha.
now. What you're saying right now is like so evidence of your lack of confidence, right?
I've
Like that
seen my
idea that like
people-
I saw a person in real life, they walked up, they shook my hand, I knew that was a weak man. Right?
Listen,
Like what are you even
Destiny, I've
saying right
seen
now?
and talked
Like
to
it's
my people.
comically stupid.
Destiny, I've seen and talked to my people. I've seen and talked to your people. And with an army like that, I mean, wow, good luck.
So hang on. Ad-hom, red flag, throwing up a red flag. That's an ad-hom. That's a penalty. Listen, okay.
Moderator.
The question is, and I think this is where we're getting somewhere here. You say, well, and I hear this all the time from television. Oh, these extreme people, they're preying on the sort of lonely, disaffected, sad, whatever, and it's predatory. We hear this. But the question is, what exactly are we pulling them away from? You say purposeful, meaningful lives. You say they're living purposeful.
I never said that at all. You
literally just said that. Roll a tape, Brittany. I know
What
we have
I
the
said
instant
was
replay.
what I said was that you're
software.
Okay. You're grabbing people that feel like they have no purpose. And then you kind of try to give them one through whatever ideology. I'm not.
But what are we pulling them away? What are we pulling them away
You're not
from?
pulling them away from a life with purpose. You're finding people that necessarily have none. If they had a life with purpose, they wouldn't be pulled away into stuff like this, obviously, right? The issue is that people today are without purpose. I think people largely today, I think people today largely feel like they have no purpose. I think that's a huge issue with today's
Wait, if you look at this from Plato's perspective, being a part of a republic is part of being a human being. So of course,
you're talking like you just ate some Play-Doh. What are you talking about, dude?
People need to care about politics and they need to care about big causes because that's part of being what a human being
dude.
is.
Most people don't give a fuck about politics or big causes. They just want to see their family. They want to go have fun on Friday night. They want to work.
Well, I think I agree with the family thing, but you can't have families in this day and age because BlackRock's buying up all the houses and
BlackRock, dude. Institutional investors own 2% of all the property.
BlackRock, is that some kind of rock and roll band or something?
All I know is I'm pretty sure the board has a bunch of people with Stein in the last name on it.
It's hard for people to start families now, and that's a political issue. So why wouldn't people, care about that? It's hard to start families now. I agree. I want people to be able to live normal lives and not have to care about ideology and politics all the time. The reason people are starting to have to do that is because they can't do that because of the status quo and establishment preventing them from.
Cool. There's a lot of reasons why it's difficult to have kids today, but neither of you are offering solutions to that.
Me? Why are you dragging me into this?
No, I was talking about both of Haas's personalities. He's kind of a schizo. Sorry, I'm sorry if it sounds like I was referring to you.
I'm schizoid.
Yeah.
This is a spectrum of schizotypal. It's a schizophrenic.
That's good. We have a lot of neurodiversity on this panel. I like that.
That's so true. We're Destiny. You and I are both neurodivergent. We're like Joker and the Riddler.
I think
we're like Joker and the Riddler.
This is how I would. You're
like Riddler.
Yeah. Which one in the new movie or?
I'm like Joker. Yeah.
I think Destiny's whole shtick is basically like to make excuses and apologetics for why things have to be the way they are.
Oh, absolutely.
He's like a caged animal. Destiny, we got to reach in there and
unlike if Kamala Harris,
super male vitality,
Hillary Clinton, and some focus panel decided to create a streamer. I'm the
you got to drink some bone broth.
I'm what would come out of the end of that project.
You got to find your inner caveman, Destiny. You're this over socialized sort of therapy victim. It's like. Would you die for anything? What would you die for? Would you die for anything?
Probably family, maybe friends.
You would die for your family?
For my family, for my son, yeah. And then maybe, I think that if my country were invaded, I think there'd be a lot of people that would want to do something about it. Would I die for my country over in like fucking Iraq or some shit? Fuck no. But if there
why would you die for your country?
I mean, I think we have some attachment. We spent our whole lives here, right? The people here, like, yeah, I think people would have some attachment to it. I think I would. As much as I don't feel like I would right now, I feel like I probably would. If somebody came invading, if there were ships on our shore, yeah, fucking sign me up. Why not?
Because your country means something to you. Your country and your family are meaningful to you. Why is your country meaningful to you? Why is your family meaningful?
I think you get a lot of anything that's proximal to you in time and space is going to have meaning to you. If you spend your whole life in a given country, if you know a lot of people in an area, of course you're going to grow some allegiance.
Why? Proximal.
What about your human behavior?
What about that?
You just anything you're near to.
Aren't you from conservative Nebraska, a place you now forsake and like completely are against, and you're now adopted the liberal?
Are against? What are you talking about?
Well, I mean, it seems like you kind of ran away from your roots instead.
Do you think you have to live in the same city your entire life?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you're obviously a very different person now. You're a kind of full.
Yeah, I would hope I'm a very different person now than I was when I was 10 or 20.
He's in his ancestral homeland. He's in Miami, which is where his ancestors.
True. My Mariel boat lifts. All of my hermanos are coming over here, dude.
Returning.
Yeah.
His blood.
I'm getting closer and closer every day to my native homelands. Okay.
That's right.
That's why I've been swimming every Saturday. One day I'm gonna be working my way back there. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, his blood remembers. Well, Destiny, so again, why is your family meaningful to you because of proximity, or is there something more there? Why?
I mean, I don't know. There's a feeling when you have a family that I don't know. There's a really big, basic, I guess I'd call it biological drive or whatever, emotional drive there, yeah.
And do you think that this is just a sort of chemical function, chemical mechanism?
As a materialist, I would. Do you think it's the spooky guy in the sky making me feel that way?
Yes, I think it's called love. I think it's called love, and I think the love is immaterial, and I also think it's more than chemical. Not just like romantic love, but this sort of attraction, not in a like I like you type of way, but like this sort of attraction, this sort of wanting the good, the benefit of the other. Wouldn't you say that it's really more something like that for your son and maybe for your country than it is just like, well, my lizard brain tells me that I need to raise this son so I could live a year longer, right? I mean, wouldn't you say it's something more like that, the former?
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I understand you would, but that's just not how I feel about it.
Okay.
Well, it's almost like you're saying you don't really care about your son because for you it's just like a completely contingent chemical, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, if you take enough psychedelics, maybe that chemical will go away,
Maybe, dude.
Yeah, that to me is just, I think that's really the divergence. I think that's, if we could sort of isolate the divergence between Destiny and us, that's really the fundamental difference is the material versus immaterial, this sort of, belief in the soul and belief in objective meaning versus this constructed meaning. I think that's really always been the big difference, because only someone that doesn't believe in the soul and meaning would take this idea that it's just sort of about, let's all just do what makes us feel comfortable and like do things that are sort of like fulfilling to us.
I feel like for somebody that gets so upset about people's engagement with theology, which I think is really sad. I think secular engagement with theology can be really bad, but religious people don't do themselves any favor. Like every time you summarize my position at it, it's been kind of like comically stupid, right? Like, oh, I think that there is just this hedonistic and I just want to do whatever and I get on Reddit and look up the studies. Like, I mean, like it's a pretty silly. I mean, like, yeah, you can say that, but again, I can always repeat back to you a million times that like, oh, well, you think there's.
Well, what are you saying then? What are you saying then? Where am I getting it wrong?
I don't think that there is an intrinsic purpose to life. I don't think that the universe has some purpose that we discover. We're people, we have some limited lifespan that we're on Earth for, and I think it's up to us to discover what that meaning is. I think there are things that we enjoy doing, there are things that give us a sense of purpose, there are things that make us happy. It might be hobbies, it might be family, it might be our children, it might be our country, but I think it's our goal to find what those things are, protect those things, and then build those things. I think that's what we do as people.
Yeah, but why? Why would we do
There doesn't have to be a why. There doesn't need to be a why for everything.
There does.
No, there doesn't. No, there doesn't. Where? Show me where.
There does.
Why does there need to be a why? Why does the Earth go around the sun? Because we just do. We are. Just because we're human. That's part of the human experience.
I think he's trying to say there is no reason, which is nihilism.
Why would you ever possibly think that you would need to speak for him and tell me what he's trying to say?
Well, because why?
I don't think that we need a reason. There doesn't have to be a reason for why we do the things that we do.
I think he's a little upset.
Right? Like, I think as humans, we just do. Just like a rock rolls down a hill, just like the rain rains and the sun comes up and the moon comes up, whatever.
Yeah, but all that happens for a reason.
That's not good enough.
There's a why for that too, Destiny.
Well, when you discover the why, when you figure that out, let me know. When you can point to something more than words in a book that another guy wrote, let me know.
where did those words come from?
Your mom.
Yeah.
Okay, epic. Okay, that was
epic Reddit.
First mom joke on
okay, yeah,
Cozy.
that was base as fuck. But yeah, I mean, so you're not really saying anything different than what I'm saying. I mean, you're essentially a nihilist. You don't believe there's objective meaning in the world. You think that the meaning is projected or put on. It's constructed by man, and you think that, like you said, we just sort of do these things. You're not really interested in where we came from or where we're going or the sort of the why. You're just sort of interested in.
We can be interested in the where. I just don't think that a
things.
why exists. Or if it does exist, I don't think we found it yet. I don't even know
There
if it's
has to be.
accessible.
There has to be
doesn't
a
have to be.
driver
You
of
feel
these
like there
things.
has to be.
Absolutely.
But that's
No,
great.
there
I
does.
understand why you feel like there has to be. Humans feel that way sometimes. You're having a very human experience right now.
No,
and I'm
where does it
sharing
come
it
from?
with you. I feel it. When bad things happen, we want to feel like there's a reason why it
You're
happened. When
being
good things
glib.
I'm not being glib.
Isn't that an inherently
I'm
irrational
watching
thing?
you have that experience. As a human, you want to feel
I
like
think
there's
it's
a
pretty
reason.
irrational
You want to
to
feel like
say
there's
there's
a
no
pattern.
why.
Like, that's fine. I understand it. I empathize with it. I don't even think you're dumb for it. I think it's totally normal. I just don't think that we've found it yet.
Here's what I have to say.
Wait, you just said you don't think we found it yet.
Yeah, if it exists, if there is some immaterial thing, or whatever, I don't think we found that particular thing. Or I haven't seen any.
So what
science.
is it then?
Yeah, what he's saying is like the mentality of a parasite. Like, he does rely on a human society where people do have a sense of meaning, right? Where people do have a sense of a why, which is like the bedrock of how we have a minimally civilized society. It's what allows them to like live in peace and go walk outside on the street and shit and like live as a human being. And without that, I think you would like crumble and like kind of shrivel up and collapse into like like a worm, basically. Like, the only reason he's able to even live his life is because he takes for granted the fact that most people don't think like he does. But like, can you imagine a society of destinies? That'd be pretty fucking scary. I don't think there would, I don't think that society would be able to like support the reproduction of human beings.
Well, it'd certainly be very high pitched. So there's sort of a buzzing noise and a lot of gaming. Gaming technology has never been more advanced. Destiny world. Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just sort of disappointed about where this conversation always leads. It sort of strikes me as a defense mechanism. It's not to psychoanalyze you, but it just seems sort of like not intellectually curious and not intellectually serious, and it just seems sort of like evasive. And
I understand. Yeah, I guess I understand. If I say I'm gonna get I'm gonna pull some some Vash philosophy terms here. If I say like meta ethics, normative ethics, applied ethics, does this mean anything to you? Like the 3 layers of ethical investigations. At the very top, we've got this like concept of meta ethics. Like, what is the nature of goodness? I feel like people that get high on their own farts will spend all day talking about this concept. But I'm more interested in like the more fundamental things. Not to say that you can't have like interesting discussions or debates about some of the like very fundamental stuff. But I think at the end of the day, I don't think it's as important or as meaningful as the more kind of like on the ground conversations we can have.
Like what? Like how do you make the best hamburger? How do you make like healthcare get to people cheaper?
Exactly that. Yeah. What do we do about the
say
housing crisis?
So
What do
it's
we do
not
about
interesting.
healthcare? I
It's
think
not
that's-
interesting. Talking about death is not interesting. I'm far more interested in like heating and plumbing.
I think there's a place for those conversations, but generally, like, it's not something I want to spend a lot of time on because I don't really have much
speaking
of it.
of that,
That's an evasion. That's
okay.
I just like don't want to think about that. Like,
Never said I don't want to think about it.
speaking of
You just said that.
I said it's a waste of time to spend all your time.
Speaking of those conversations, so if Destiny's whole purpose is to like influence on the ground things like policy, why is it that like, when you canvass for mayors, they come publicly and disavow you? I mean, like, it doesn't really seem like you've made much progress in that regard. So I think,
I mean, that's not the area that I'm looking to make a lot of progress in, I guess, right? I do mainly online shit, just like you do, right? Why is it that when you say you want to lead a revolution, why do you struggle so hard to get over 300 concurrent viewers, right? Listen, we're all on our journey. We're all trying to do what we're trying to do. Like,
we're
not on a journey. None of this means anything.
What journey are you on?
Well, right now I'm trying to beat Melania, the goddess of rot, in Elden Ring. That's the journey that I'm on right now, and it's an arduous one. Okay.
Reddit niggas be like,
so that's what you're saying.
Omega lol.
Yeah.
Omega lol.
so you're saying the video game journey
Nihilist
matters
destroys.
more than like asking fundamental questions about like what it means to be human and shit? Like, is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that I'm 33 years old and I've spent a lot of time around people that smoke a lot of weed and sit around asking each other those questions all day. But once you get to a certain age, I think that you stop like dwelling on the like
Reddit niggas be like,
what is death?
Me and Haas,
what happens
after
are
like, why do we die? And Destiny's like,
I'm good on that.
What is that guy smoking? I want to smoke with that.
I think I'm good on those.
I'm ready to die for my race. I'll have what he's had. I'll smoke whatever that guy's on drugs. I want that drug. It's like this Mark Maron, like just total like libtarded zombie.
If we think about it, like, you know,
poison.
To be fair, I think it's interesting because from an anthropological perspective, it's interesting. There's never really been human beings that have existed like this. I mean, it's really a very...
There's never... I think this is the first time...
Fully evolved.
I think 1980 is when secular people appeared on the face of the earth. It's insane. 10,000 years of human culture and civilization.
How did this specimen of... What do we call them? Like... Homo Reddit. What do we call this? You know,
Homo.
Don't they? Okay, chill. Okay, don't they? I think
like
let's use
let's
a,
go.
Let's use a more. How about we say cuckolloids? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, where did this type of human being come from? Where it's like we don't care about any type of virtue. We don't care about serving our country or serving our religion or living for any reason at all. It's all.
Who said that? Can you really not conceive of living for any reason that's outside of like some religious ideology? Is that really like how lost?
Well, you have to admit.
I feel like I'm arguing with religious people back from 2004. Did you guys miss that conversation? Or
the type of person that you represent is very recent in human history.
I don't even know if that's true. What about the whole like Age of Enlightenment and reason and shit? Weren't people always trying to get away from religion for quite a while? The rise and fall of the Catholic Church.
That was also very recent as well. And also,
well, I don't know. I'm sorry, I didn't know if recent meant hundreds of years or dozens of years to you.
I mean, depending on how long you think humans have been around, it's pretty recent, right?
Okay, sure.
But even then, though, the Enlightenment people, they were still. I mean, you look at Robespierre; he was willing to die for the Republic, die for the cause. You know, you chop off the counter-revolution. They still believed in something, and it's like it seems kind of like this total nihilism of like, yeah, I'm just gonna play video games and go on.
What do you think? So at the end of a conversation like this, where you guys have dwelled on the most fundamental issues of mankind, what progress have you made? What have you accomplished?
See, but that you're measuring this in sort of like material terms. I mean, if you're
what have you accomplished immaterially?
What does that mean? What is an accomplishment? I don't know.
I don't know.
I think we're
participating.
It's not even.
Progress?
I'm not even asking.
What do you mean? You mean rearranging carbon atoms? You mean rearranging atoms?
Let's lower the temperature. I'm not even trying to be attacking.
You're giving me never tell a Groiper to calm down.
Let's
all right, go ahead.
Lower the temperature. It's hot as an oven in here right now.
Yeah,
Nick. Okay.
It's about to be.
Let's bring
it's
the
about
temperature.
To be real steamy.
Let's bring the temperature down a little bit. Okay. So let me ask this in a less inflammatory way. At the end of these types of conversations, like, how do you normally feel? Do you feel like spiritually enriched? Do you feel like you've made like I don't want to say
about that.
Well, what is it about? Tell me. I'm asking. I'm legitimately asking. Okay.
It's about the truth. We want to know. We want to understand the nature of things.
Do you feel like you're getting closer to it by having these conversations?
Yes. It's even if it's not linear progress. We're sort of looking at the world, and there's a delight actually in pondering the nature of things, and everything that you see, systems and cause and effect. You get a little closer, you get a little shade of the truer nature of how things are working, and
so you think that by the end of maybe in 4 or 5 years after having had enough of these conversations, are you going to ever stumble upon this? I guess like your final answers.
You're missing the point. Human beings by nature are burdened with these questions. You can't take them for granted.
You're choosing this burden. You're not burdened.
No, I think you're choosing to shut yourself off from it.
You are choosing right now to have this conversation. You're choosing to have this conversation. No one's forcing it upon you.
I'm choosing to play Elden Ring.
Exactly. Thank you.
I'm choosing to. Hello, milady.
So Destiny, what do you think?
I think that I think, Nick. I think that when you were 14, I think you played Super Smash Bros. Melee, and I think you got fucked, and everybody ruined you.
That's true.
And that's why you hate video games so much.
I don't hate video games.
That's why you hate them.
I'm wearing an AFCraft.
Yeah, you hate them because you got crushed in video games.
Dude, I love video games.
Okay.
I'm wearing a Minecraft sweatshirt, bro. But you're right. I do suck at video games.
I think so. Let me break down Destiny's
But I love
worldview.
them.
Thank you.
For
I
Destiny
love it when you
worldview-
talk about me like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not here.
So
to make you
politics-
feel good. Make sure you use
politics-
cock at least twice in the explanation. Go ahead.
So Destiny's worldview is this: politics and all worldly matters of administration, all that kind of stuff. That's just a kind of technology to augment our ability to play video games. Like politics exists.
And Reddit, video games and Reddit.
It's all a machine and a system to allow us to further consume video games and Marvel movies and go on Reddit.
Thank you.
That's
and be
really
cucks,
the
and be
purpose
cucks.
and end of
Sexual
life.
hedonism and be cucks. Don't forget that one too.
Yeah, but it's true.
Yeah.
But it is true.
So I think that's a pretty sad life.
Okay.
I really pity that, honestly.
He's Destiny. We're just trying to help you, bro. We're just trying you to, fulfill your destiny, so to speak. Yes, it's so funny. Your name is Destiny, and Destiny implies
Right?
Destiny. Where does that come from, by the way? Where did you? Where?
When I was 12 years old, I needed a name for video games actually, and I settled on Neo Destiny. I thought they sounded cool. It's like cool words.
Well, it's sort of interesting because Destiny implies like a fate.
Greater plan.
Yes, exactly.
Nothing's
A
by
destination arrives, a fated destination you're marching towards, and yet you seem to be without. Your destiny is what? Feel good? Do something productive
Get
for
a
our
high
lives?
score on a video game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, beat the fucking video
beat the Elden
game
Ring,
boss.
beat the
beat
save
Bowser,
princess. Yeah, from
play your little Mario game. Your little.
Wait. I think
you measure your life in points.
Yeah.
on a
Wait.
ladder.
I don't think we should grant the hedonist this idea like, oh, it's just happiness. Why does it make you happy? I think video games are a form of copium. I think they allow you to run away from real world human questions and problems.
Absolutely.
It's not just raw and distilled happiness.
Here's an honest question. I'm curious for the. Wait, Haas, are you in your 30s yet?
No.
Based Zoomer. Wait,
If
how old
you-
are you, Haas?
25.
Really? Oh shit.
Kind of millennial-ish. I guess Zoomer.
Okay, so I've done a decent amount of drugs. I've talked to a fair bit of people, had a fair bit of conversations, personally, privately, publicly. Do you think there's anything that you two could say about death or purpose or meaning in life that I haven't heard at least 10 times over already?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think it's about novelty, though, actually.
Well, to some extent it is, right? Because if you're having these
Not really.
conversations, if it's the same conversation every time, it's probably not a very fruitful
I think that one of Destiny's big issues is that there's this word people used to use called a Philistine. A Philistine's the type of person that they don't care about literary concern. They don't care about philosophy. They don't care about any of that kind of stuff. They're just kind of like.
Well, he's a musical artist. He's a musical artist.
Yeah, I don't even know, and we've done a decent amount of philosophy. I don't know what you're even talking about.
Is he an artist?
He's musically inclined.
What works of music have you produced?
This is my favorite song.
Scenic Solar Systems and so on.
Omega LOL trolled. Let's go, band kid. Whoa, where'd you go find that, son? Let's go. That was awesome.
Did you like that composition? It's in in C. In C.
Yeah, that's really
That-
classic.
I-
Instant class.
Did you say
Clip
band-
that. Post that on TikTok.
Did you say band kid?
Yeah, literal band kid Reddit dude.
That's on the
Eat this shit up like fucking.
That's
cram.
really on the nose.
Well, come on, man.
Wait, do you do any art, Haas? How can you accuse me when I at least am musically inclined? You don't do anything with art. How can you accuse me of not being an artist?
I've been
Mozart
a
is
writer
boring as
before I streamed. I was a writer.
What's
writer?
interesting
Oh
to
my
you?
God.
What's interesting to you? What's interesting? Music.
What, musically?
Yeah.
I like music with lots of extensions. Those types of harmonies sound cool to me.
Like what?
I mean, it could be in jazzy songs. It could be, do you want groups? Do you want chords? Do you want progression? Like, what do you want to hear?
I want a musical piece, an artist.
So there are two, in terms of higher level stuff that I would enjoy, that I recommend everybody check out. There are two groups. One is called Snarky Puppy, and another is called Bad Bad Not Good. They do kind of like newer, more contemporary jazzy stuff. I think those dudes are super cool. I like both of those groups a lot. I also like a lot of kind of like proggy rock, mathy rock. I used to.
You like Wagner?
No.
Dude, Haas is so fucking based.
Not much. Do you wait? Hold on.
Wagner's
When
great.
you guys
I think
say
he's
stuff
great.
like this, right? Like, do you know you don't actually listen to this in your free time, right?
Yeah, I'm just asking.
Yes, I have. Yes,
Haas,
I
can
do.
you name me 2 pieces by Wagner?
Yes. Well,
okay, like, do you see what I'm saying? Do you see? It's like a collective fiction.
No,
we have here,
there's
right?
the famous one, Ride of the
come on.
Valkyries, that everyone knows about.
Sure. Do you know if that's the name of the piece?
I'm just well, I'm not saying like I listen to that in my free time. I'm just asking.
Sure, I know. I'm just saying, but like, there's this thing where like people like
the ring contains many pieces in it. So would the ring constitute like an entire piece, or do you want like
people like to pretend, right, that they have? It's so strange because I know this a lot because I went to college for music, right? So I see this, right? It's funny when you look at people's engagement with classical music. They feel like they have to love it because it's culture, and then when you ask people about it, they feel bad if they don't. They're like, oh my god,
I'm not
like
saying
I don't
that,
know.
though.
No, I know you're not, but it's funny that Haas tried to like, oh Wagner, Ride of the Valkyries. I saw in a Looney Tunes cartoon once. Like, come on, man, really?
No, you asked me for there's what do you like? What do you mean?
You don't listen to this every time. It's fine,
Yes,
too,
I do.
right?
Yes, I do.
No, that's okay.
There's-
Can you name
yes,
me a
I
few
do.
like romantic era composers that you like? Do you know any of these guys?
Beethoven and Mozart are romantic.
Okay, Mozart is classical. Beethoven was late era, got romantic.
Oh yeah,
right?
you're right.
No,
Beethoven
it's okay.
was romantic.
Right? What about Tchaikovsky? Do you know any like impressionist people? I know this because I studied it, right? But like, at least I don't pretend to like it. I'll tell you that. Like,
I'm not a music theorist. I'm not a.
It's
music
not about theorists. You don't know the
like,
people that you claim to like worship, right?
I like Wagner's play, right? But his pieces like Parsifal and.
Oh, now that you've had time to look.
I
them
studied
up, yeah?
the life of
No, I
Pablo
mean-
in college.
Oh,
Also,
nice. Not a good album.
That's
actually.
part of the play, you know.
Okay,
You
filter
can't have it
moment.
without the
Filter. You don't like Life of Pablo?
Everything after My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is hot trash. I'm sorry. That's actually
just don't get
if you
it.
like the
That's
Life of
racist.
Pablo, then I know that you have bad taste in music. I think that's all I needed to
literally
hear.
opposite. Literally
That's
opposite.
literally all
bro.
I needed to hear from you. But
Yeah, likewise. Friendship over. Friendship ruined. Never talking.
which Life
again.
of Pablo did you like? Was it like the 15th time he released the album, or like the 7th time he released it, or what the one that he put on
that's actually a
Tidal and
veiled-
said?
That's a veiled way of saying the N-word. What he's saying he's late because he's black.
I never said he was late. He actually was
Racist.
on time, like 15
That's another
times
way
when he
of
remade
saying
the
what
album over
music
and
do
over
you
again.
like?
Black.
What?
It's other way of
So what-
saying the N-word, frankly.
So you like this these new jazz artists? That's what you said.
Yeah, sure.
What else do you like?
There's just certain musical sounds I like. Do you want me to like name every band that I like, or what do you mean?
Yes,
There's music
name
that I
every
listened to in
band.
high
Name a
school that
band
I
you
like
like.
just because it brings back like certain memories. So like
like
older
music?
stuff. Yeah, I know.
Name
What do
every
you listen
band.
to in the car?
What do I listen? It super depends on my mood. If I listen to shit I listened to in high school, it might be stuff like Blink
Damn,
182.
you can't even answer
or,
a question.
Wait, you like Blink 182?
Yeah, stuff I listened to growing up in high school. 311,
You
Newfound
like that
Glory.
band?
Yeah, I do. I have to. I grew up with it. Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm
Vindicated.
embarrassed to say it, but yeah, Linkin Park, Trapped, fucking Sum 41, all these
182
groups. Yeah, Breaking
sucked.
Benjamin, of course. Yeah, of course they do. Because listen, because that's not your music, son. All right.
True.
You were in first
Hey!
grade. Okay.
Listen
you
up,
don't
old
you're not
man.
allowed to say it sucks. That's what your
Trash.
older brothers were listening to. Brittany knows what I'm talking about. Okay.
It's true. We like Chris Brown and 50 Cent.
Oh,
Yeah.
to an old man.
You guys
And,
are. Okay, you guys will listen to some
Kanye
different
West.
shit. All right.
Yeah, Blink 182 is pussy worship. The fucking millennial trash.
Jesus. You weren't even around for the
that's
NSYNC and Backstreet Boys debates, man. You guys
That's
are...
true. Justin Bieber's red pilled, Aryan race soldier for our cause. Justin Bieber would kick Justin Timberlake's ass, and you know it. Everyone knows it.
Yeah. What, is there anything else you wanted to quiz me on, Haas? Or are you okay over there? Are you
What-
like
what-
Googling?
what,
It feels like you're Googling shit to try to quiz me on something.
My hands have been free. I don't know what you're talking about.
Your eyes are going back and forth across the screen like you're on fucking meth. Trust me, I would know. So.
Because okay. So you're very psychoanalytic. I can see that. But
Just a basic observation, but
what
do you
what
feel like
kind
I'm
of
penetrating you right
what,
now?
Ew.
What like popular music do you like pop music?
Yeah.
I don't listen to much like radio stuff because I'm not in my car listening to the radio. I don't know if I like a lot of this. Sounds like so corny, but like there are like certain sounds that show up in pop a lot, and I don't like a lot of those types of sounds. But there are some mainstream guys also like the type of music that Drake makes. I like his beats, so I'll listen to like a lot of stuff by Drake. Oh fuck. Oh my God, who he had a feature with Lil Wayne. Who am I thinking of, guys?
Who had a feature with Lil Wayne?
Call Me If You Get Lost is the album. Oh, Tyler the Creator. I really like his music. Not always his rapping, but Tyler's a really sick dude. I've listened to some Billie Eilish. I like the types of songs she makes sometimes.
So you're a devil worshiper. You like Billie Eilish and Drake, literal. There's probably some like frequency thing. He's like getting the demonic frequency. Kanye puts out a godlike frequency, which is why me and Haas pick up on it.
Oh,
and
J.
Destiny
Cole, I
listens to
like.
Drake.
Does that count? There you go.
It's emanating from some kind of a period. Yeah, J. Cole's a corny gay and sucks. Demonic frequency. Drake, Jewish pedophile. Billie Eilish, man-hating, demon, devil worshiper.
Am I okay? Do I need any more, Haas, or are you?
You're a devil worshiper.
You okay over there?
Am I okay? What do you mean?
I feel like I'm on trial for my taste in music. I remember.
I just want to. It allows me to like build a psychological profile of you. You know.
Do you think that's how that works? Do you think you can build a psychological profile of somebody based on the type of music they like when you don't even have like a theoretical understanding of how the music works?
Yeah, I think it adds to the puzzle.
Okay.
We got you figured out, pal. We got you all figured out. We've seen your type before.
But I feel like my conclusion is I just think Destiny's corny. I think he's a corny boomer kind of 33-year-old, and it's like for somebody who's trying to be like, oh yeah, religion, all this stuff's a waste of time. I just like.
When did I ever say that? Did I ever say religion was a waste?
It's like whatever you said. And then now you're like, oh, I just like being.
And now she's so big she barely fits in the chute. She's a dreadful mess, and besides barely being able to reach, I have a lot of extra weight to hold up. She's fat, it's hot, and my #1 goal is getting this off before she heat stresses. She and I are currently locked into 5.5 minutes of intense early June huffing and puffing, and all that extra weight and wool aren't doing her any favors when it comes to cooling down. By the end, we are both spent, and she is totally heat stressed. This is why obesity and overgrowth is so dangerous and why speed is way more important than looks. Thankfully, she stands quickly and recovers, but heat stress can be fatal. And this fleece she was carrying is unreal. It barely fits on my shearing floor and is certainly large enough to be a mattress. I can hardly ball it up to shove it into an outdoor trash bag, just so we can weigh it and find 22 pounds of wasted matted wool. This is an average sized sheep, but this one is obese and overgrown. Last year, her owners missed the shearer because of COVID, and now she's so big she barely fits in the chute. She's a dreadful mess, and besides barely being able to reach, I have a lot of extra weight to hold up. She's fat, it's hot, and my #1 goal is getting this off before she heat stresses. She and I are currently locked into 5.5 minutes of intense early June huffing and puffing, and all that extra weight and wool aren't doing her any favors when it comes to cooling down. By the end, we are both spent, and she is totally heat stressed. This is why obesity and overgrowth is so dangerous and why speed is way more important than looks. Thankfully, she stands quickly and recovers, but heat stress can be fatal. And this fleece she was carrying is unreal. It barely fits on my shearing floor and is certainly large enough to be a mattress. I can hardly ball it up to shove it into an outdoor trash bag, just so we can weigh it and find 22 pounds of wasted matted wool. This is an average size.
More time playing video games, right?
Yeah, and then it's
right,
like
bitch.
when I actually like
sounds like
quiz
he's
you
over
on
there playing some game. Yeah.
And then when you actually get quizzed on your real tastes, it's like corny. It's like you're like a weird guy. Like I don't know.
What is
I don't. I feel
what
like
does
you don't.
weird mean?
I feel like. What do you think about this, Nick? Don't you think that on some level, like in order to
Mit, glaube
be
ich, die billigste Variante, wie du Eiweiß zuführen kannst.
Hast ein gutes Casein, aber es sättigt. 500 Gramm Magerquark machen satt wie Sau. Ja, weil du halt dann das Zeug im Darm liegen hast und der Körper das nach und nach erst aufnimmt. Deswegen auch Casein, zeitverzögertes Protein. Gut als gute Nacht-Eiweiß oder bei Frauen, wenn sie auf Diät sind, die einfach dadurch mehr Sättigung und das Hungergefühl weniger nachlässt. Das heißt, bei einer kalorienreduzierten Diät ist Quark eine sehr, sehr gute Alternative. Bei 250 Gramm Quark bist du bei 30 Gramm Eiweiß. Das heißt, hier haben wir 60 Gramm Eiweiß in der Hand in Form von Casein. Entsprechend Magerquark. Mit, glaube ich, die billigste Variante, wie du Eiweiß zuführen kannst. Hast ein gutes Casein, aber es sättigt. 500 Gramm Magerquark machen satt wie Sau. Ja, weil du halt dann das Zeug im Darm.
I think based is where having traditional values and being cool coalesce. And I think at a certain level, you can't have good taste, even at the level of like what normies like, if you're like Destiny. You know, you just can't have good judgment or good taste, whether that means judging physical attractiveness and beauty.
What is it?
or
What
art,
do you
right?
listen to? What is your contemporary art?
Yeah, what do you like, Haas?
Taste, Haas, yeah.
Besides the
I do
most
agree
rare.
with I agree with Nick that Kanye is the vanguard of pop.
Let's
1000%.
go. Let's go. I love this guy.
What's your
Destiny,
favorite? What's your
this is
favorite
the
Kanye? What's your
competition.
favorite Kanye album?
Graduation, is that the one with Stronger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
jeez.
one.
Fake
That
fan.
one.
Fake fan.
Graduation.
Oh, is that the one with Stronger?
And then my
Come on now.
beautiful dark twisted fantasy. I think those two is the ones I hold up the most.
Why do you think those are the best?
I kind of have this theory about music where pop music starts to like 2016 it was 80s, right? And then it was 90s. And I always like to be ahead of the game. So I'm looking at the 2000s and like late 2000s and that specific vibe, like, you know, an Escalade with rims and shit, that kind of vibe, ice cold. And to me, Graduation just reminds me of that. You know, like I grew up with that. And
On an Escalade with rims? That's what Graduation reminds you of?
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, what were we saying before? I think the real divide is between.
Wait, have you actually listened to this album?
Yeah, I don't know. He has a. Haas, you're a fake Mozart fan and a fake Kanye fan.
Well, no, but
What
this is
do you
I-
listen
this is-
to?
This is what I was saying earlier, right? How like nothing about you is real. It's funny because not you, Nick. Well, maybe you, but I'm focusing
Hey,
on Haas right now.
I'm a
okay?
real human being.
You're the
What
moderator.
are
so I'm
you
leaving
confused about? What are you
it's
so
like
confused
you have
about?
this like you're like a creation of something of yourself. Or like the thing that I'm talking to, there must be like some anime where people project their own like fucking avatars and go to fight each other. Somebody can think of some anime reference where there's a thing.
Didn't say
But like,
Simon Says.
I'm not actually talking to.
All right, wait, are you saying I'm lying about the Kanye thing? Because that's on public
I'm
record.
saying that you're projecting an image, and that image even includes like media that.
Wait,
you like.
but there's literally videos on YouTube where I gave a lecture about Kanye West like a year ago. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Like, when I say the Escalade with rims, I'm talking about a vibe of ice cold. I'm talking about like, you know, like I can't explain it. It's like it's an intuitive type of thing. Like the late 2000s had a very specific vibe where it was like, so the 90s were about like the rebirth. 80s was about the darkness. It was night. You know, 90s was about rebirth, the morning. And the 2000s was about, this shit sounds schizo as fuck, but it's like, it's artist shit, right? The 2000s were kind of like this crazy hyper reality, Y2K, whatever. This
feel like the
era.
weed, Nick. This is what I'm
And
talking
then-
about.
And then the two, I mean, I don't know. If you ask me why I like an album the most, it's gonna sound schizo, right? I don't know how to
Not
explain
really. I think there are good reasons to. I really like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I think it's a really good album.
Why? Okay, go ahead,
I like
explain
that
why.
album because there were two
Why?
things that happened. One, I think it was the ultimate evolution of Kanye West's style. The taking of like the sped up vocal samples, the awesome fucking features, all of this combined with the thing that he's rapping about so much, and I think it's epitomized on the track Runaway. It is the perfect apex of not only his talent as an artist, but his arrogance as a person and his self-awareness of that arrogance. That's why I love that album so much, because it's Kanye at his best and his worst.
don't think it
but
was about
knowing that he's
media?
at his
He's
worst.
spitting.
That's why I like that's why I
spitting.
like that album so much.
You
I
don't
it's a
think
really
that
good
album was about his public image in media and how he was dealing with that?
Yeah, that's part of it. Yeah, is how he deals with his public image and how it's larger than life and how he lives into it too much.
Yeah, but
and
for
doesn't
me,
like it.
Graduation was different from that, and it was like a form of like there was no self-reflection or self-awareness. It was just a one-sided sense of power, and that's what I liked about it.
I mean, I don't know if I feel like there were a lot of like chill tracks on that. You had I think Big Brother was about Jay-Z, right? Acknowledging like how Jay-Z was like so helpful with him up and coming. You had the track Homecoming, which was like really chill. Flashing Lights was a cool one.
Yeah, it was
like
chill,
Stronger is
also
like the song that everybody knows about.
It was also unapologetic.
I guess I don't know if I felt that much from Graduation, but maybe, you know, listen, if that's your takeaway.
Well, you know, Kanye says about Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy that's not his favorite album that he's made, because he said that in some of the songs he's conforming to sort of like popular taste, like on Power, it's like more conventional sound. He also said that Runaway is sort of like an apology for who he is, because of the Taylor Swift thing. It was sort of like a public apology, like a reconciliation with the public. So there's some truth in the fact that, yeah, Graduation was like the height of the exuberance of the trilogy, right? Because then you get 808s, right? Mom dies, the engagement falls through, and you get this sort of sad Kanye. Uh-oh, his wife's calling. You know,
or the wife's boyfriend, maybe.
You're relentless. He's just relentless.
He has a lot of sexual insecurity, so he feels like if he keeps hitting it on me, eventually I'm going to crack. But that's
an alpha male you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
Absolute.
I don't know. I mean, alpha, bona fide.
Absolute.
I don't have to be. Wait.
Sigma Chad male.
I don't. Why do you guys notice like cucks are always like, oh, I'm so secure, I let my wife fuck other men. It's like.
They do say that.
Maybe you should be a little insecure.
I think you're you're 2 cuck jokes away from crushing me, Haas. You're almost like 10 more minutes in this conversation. Yeah, I know you didn't make any progress the last time, but this time you'll get them.
Yeah, but it is a thing though. Are you not a cuck? You don't have to.
If I was a cuck, I'd say I don't give a fuck about being a cuck.
Oh, are you not one?
No. Do you know what a cuck is?
Wait, okay. How are you not a cuck?
Can you tell me what a cuck is, or is this going to be like
I think
Wagner, where you don't know?
Someone who lets.
That's not what a cuck is. That's not what a cuck is.
Oh, okay. What's a cuck?
I'm not going to tell you. Go Google it. Check your porn history. I'm sure you've looked up a lot of that porn before.
Just explain it. Educate us. I'm a normal guy. I think what you do is that's a cuck, but maybe you can educate me. Educate us.
I'm not here to. I don't want to talk with you about sex. Okay. I'm good on.
So you're a cuck.
Go look it up later, and then you can come back to the conversation more prepared. Okay.
All right.
You can go look up. You can go look up. Maybe you can go listen to. You can go listen to Graduation again and try to remember one song besides "Stronger" from the album. And yeah, you could do that too. Okay.
That's a valid point. Can you name one other song from Graduation other than "Stronger"? I'm gonna hold you to that one. Okay. Yeah. As a moderator, I have to hold you to that.
The one that talks about Lake Michigan, where I'm from, Homecoming.
That's so disrespectful. It's just disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's just Homecoming. It's about Chicago, okay? It's about Chicago.
No, it talks about Lake Michigan.
Yeah, on Chicago. Yeah, Chicago is on Lake Michigan.
All right, okay, whatever.
Fireworks on Lake Michigan.
Oh man,
it's the projection. I'm from Michigan, and that's what it reminds me.
But it's okay. I understand it. We all, I guess, or you guys have to play your parts.
Yeah. You're one of those Muslims taking over Dearborn, aren't you? Fucking Arabs taking over Dearborn, Michigan.
Sure. Yeah, we're bringing Sharia anytime soon.
It's a Muslim call to prayer. Just admit it. I'm kidding, of course, but this has been a very productive. At the end of this conversation, I asked myself, "Was this productive? Was this a productive?" And my life, my life is way better now.
I'm glad you have a way by which you can.
I'm
glad I can give you a new tool to make sure that you're having a good conversation.
What do you think about this? Because this was my observation. You know, you notice with
Cox?
Religious artists, right? They've usually had a hard time being cool for a long time, right? They had a hard time being tasteful. And to me, the real significance of Kanye is that he's able to combine the religious thing with the tastefulness thing, right?
I also heard the track Jesus Walks. Yes, I liked it. It was good, Haas. Thank you.
I think Haas talking about Donda and Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, why? I don't. To be clear, I'm not an expert on Kanye. I'm not trying to posture.
Bro, you're not an expert on anything. Okay, we know.
He's an expert on communism.
Oh, true. The one thing that has no material relation to anything in the fucking real world. That's good.
So wait, Destiny, what are you an expert on?
I like to think I know a bit about music, but I mean,
musical expert.
You would consider yourself
Factorio,
a music...
League of Legends.
So wait, you're a music expert who can't produce any music.
I mean, not everybody does music production. I know a lot of theory. I can make stuff up. I do improvisation, but no,
Can
I
you
don't
make
compose.
one piece of art that's worth anything?
How?
Can you produce?
Oh, wait, hold on. I'm trying.
All
Because
you
that,
do
that
is
question
analyze?
is stupid on like 3 different levels. So I'm
Why
trying to
don't
wonder
you
how.
put your
when
money
you say,
where your
when
mouth
you say,
is?
when
If
you
you're,
say,
you're a music theorist.
well, yeah, I do.
then
I
you
have. So I
know-
have like.
you
I have.
know about
I have.
what
Yeah.
makes
I have.
good
So I have.
music, right?
Yeah. So
So
I
make good music.
What do you think?
That's hold on. There is
What do you
no. You can't
theory?
say there's objectively good. That's not how any art works. Number
Well,
one.
just try at
Number
least.
one.
Okay, make music that
number
you like.
one. Yeah. Can I finish?
Make
or-
music that reflects
Okay.
your knowledge of music.
So you're so scared of getting an answer that you have to keep rambling. Let me know when you're ready for me to answer.
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. So every now and then I have these little challenges for my community where I write a little song and then my community reorganizes it or rearranges it into other songs. It's called my competition challenges. I've already done 10 of these. So if you want like some basis of to look at musical stuff for my community or for me, you can go check out that, I guess.
Kind of gay.
Kind of
Hey everybody, let's here's everyone edit this piece of music.
Oh, and here
That
we
sounds
have
really
Exhibit
fun.
A for why conservatives lost
really
the culture
fun.
war.
Wait,
Zero
wait,
engagement with the
hold on.
arts.
Doing little music competitions.
Hold on, wait. Give me a second. You're saying that you don't make any music, you have your community make it for you?
No, I make a song and then they expand on the song.
So why can't you just make a good piece of music?
Because I don't like to like compose full pieces. It's not a desire of mine.
So how can we know you know anything about music if you can't make any good music?
Do you think that you can't have an understanding of like the theory of something at all unless you like
If you don't put it into practice, I don't know.
put it into practice? How though?
I'm a practice-oriented guy, you know?
No, you're
I
not.
like
Hold on.
results.
You're not a practicing guy because you can't practice anything, Haas. You have no artistic merit in anything, right? You don't have any accomplishments, any achievements at all.
See,
you're a
that's
law
the-
school dropout, right? So what do you mean you're a practice-oriented guy? What do you practice?
Everything you just said is so wrong, and I just look at you.
Wait,
believing that,
name
and I
one
feel
thing
bad
that
for
I
you.
just said that was wrong. Are you
I'm
a
not
law school dropout?
Hold on, I'm not a law school
Simon
dropout.
says.
I have produced things before.
Wait, what? So are you going to finish law school then?
Yeah, I may. I
Okay,
actually
so
may.
you're a law school dropout. One. That's fine. I'm a music school dropout.
Why am I in law school?
I'm a
I'm
music
still
gap
in law
year.
school.
It's okay,
I'm
dude.
literally still in law school.
I'm a music. You're not in law school. I'm a music school
Yes,
dropout.
I am.
Really?
Hold on.
What year
I am
are you?
still enrolled in law school.
Enrolled.
Oz, I would hire you as my lawyer.
Would you, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, like,
You know what,
are
Nick?
you
That's
talking
very
about?
Trumpian of you. He can be your Giuliani, okay?
Yeah, I'll pay him in rubles.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
You'll represent me
I mean,
against the CIA.
Destiny, it's like you
What have
say
you
things that are
produced?
just-
What have you produced of value?
Come to the
Haas?
shows.
What have you produced of value?
I've written books.
Whole books, really?
Yeah.
What's the
Yes,
title
I
of
have.
one?
I've written a book about Islam.
Okay.
Based.
Nick, what do you think about that? How do you think his book is?
Islam?
I'm curious. Well, no, what do you think? What do you think his book? Do you think it's well written?
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
I have hold on. I have a Substack where I write like smaller articles that are pretty big.
Smaller articles.
They're not
Where's
book
Where's your
length,
book at? Who published
It's
it?
proof. It's proof that I can write a book. I mean, I have a Substack.
Do you think you've written more on your Substack than I've written on my Reddit account?
I think I've probably written more than you. I mean, one of my
Can you
books
link me your Substack?
Where do you want me to link it?
Just link it
In the chat, in the
here.
StreamYard chat. I'd like to see the Substack.
Yeah, I'm super curious. We need an evaluation right now. I'm gonna see if it looks more like The Life of Pablo or Graduation. Okay. That's
Oh yeah, is it a masterpiece or a masterpiece? Is it a 10 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10?
So here it is.
Destiny didn't like it because he has like Father Stretch My Hands because he's not religious. That's why. Life of Pablo is too chaotic for Destiny. Destiny likes everything.
Wait, Destiny, if
okay,
I...
so we have a Substack with
Zern.
4 articles on it. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, Destiny, I have unpublished books. If I give them to you, will you give me $10,000?
Why would I care about your unpublished book? I have unpublished stuff I wrote when I was
because
17 years old.
You're saying I've never done or produced anything.
You have a
So if you're
Substack
wrong, would you
with.
put money
I'm sorry.
behind
You
that?
have a Substack with 3 articles on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm just telling you it's proof that I can write.
I mean, I graduated high school. I can write. What?
Okay, why don't you, okay, can you write with the same level of knowledge and whatever that I have and like the
Knowledge and
democracy
whatever?
one? Yeah, read the democracy one and tell me you can, like, I want to quiz you on it. Read it and then...
My guess is that it's
tell
probably
me
going to
you
be a
can
whole bunch
understand
of like empty bullshit just like when you speak. So I don't want to read your fucking writing. Hell no. But I write
Yeah, it
manifestos,
kind of
dude. That's what
sounds
I'm
like a
known
bluff
for.
to
I'm the
me.
manifesto
It
writer.
kind of sounds like a bluff to me. It's like you say it's
Yeah.
empty bullshit, but...
Sounds like you can't read.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like to me. Why don't you prove you can read?
Oh shit, you're right.
Go ahead. Read the
Okay.
first 3 sentences. Let's sound it out. Try and sound it out.
I gotta call my Swedish wife in here. to
Yeah,
guide me
Destiny.
through the-
Like I said, you claim to be an expert in music, but you've never produced any. Like
composition is
musical piece in
just
your life.
one part of music.
Yeah, but you've never done anything productive in your whole life.
What does productive mean to you?
You've never produced anything of value in your whole life.
What is value? What? How can you even say that? Do you understand how stupid that is, right?
No, I don't.
Like you're making, like it's not. I'm trying to be nice.
I don't think you've ever
You're-
demonstrated any like skill beyond video games. Am I wrong?
I think I've demonstrated an adequate understanding of music, more so than 99% of the population. Yeah.
Then can you make a good piece of music then?
I guess if I were to download a program and start sketching stuff out, yeah, I could write a piece. I mean, I don't know if it'd be...
Let's do. Yeah, you should do that. We want to listen to the Destiny song. That would be fun.
Yeah, I mean, I can link you pieces I've played with friends in the past. We want
an original composition. Due on Friday.
Yeah, wait, link me one of your music pieces. I want to hear it.
I can already tell you what you're gonna say. Oh, this is elementary. I can tell it's a soulless neoliberal establishment.
No,
piece.
just do it. Just do it. I linked you my stuff. Do it.
I usually just do improvisation with friends, so we just make stuff up and we.
All right, I just want to listen to it. Can I listen to it?
We have a jam session. Should have a jam set. We smoke a lot of pot, and we have like a jam
Exactly.
session. And then we all have
Enjoy
hedonist
watching
sex.
it. I hope you like it.
Is this your song?
It's not my song. It's made up.
This
It's just an
is my
improvisational
song.
session. There's not like.
Wait, you're not gonna take responsibility for this before I listen to it?
You don't
Is
understand.
that you?
It's just made up. It's not
You
like
look
a
younger.
formal composition because
So
anything.
you never made anything yourself.
I mean, that's made. It's a piece that's made. You just don't understand what you're talking about.
So can you give me something you can take responsibility for and I can judge it?
I'll take responsibility for that. We made that, sure.
So who's we? Wait, we or you? I mean,
I made
What
up
do you
the
mean we
piano
made
part, and the guy playing violin made up
all
the
right, I'll
violin
judge the
part.
piano part. I'll judge the piano part.
Oh
I'm
boy,
not gonna listen
I'm
to that.
super excited. Okay.
Sounds a little chaotic.
Too many notes, right?
Yeah, too many notes. So true. That's so true. Yeah, it's too many notes. You should make a piece. You should write an opera.
I'll think about
about me. Well, you're a star.
It's not honestly. The compliment I'll give it is that it sounds like it'd be in a soundtrack for an 8-bit video game. On Steam.
Thank you so much.
Owned.
It doesn't make any
Owned.
sense.
Video game
but-
on
Owned. You'll never recover. You'll never
I don't
recover
think
from
so.
that. Oh, it's over for you, pal. It's over for you. Just your Tyrann army is in shambles. Your no Vespine gas left. It's just fucking over. Give up. Give up. No more minerals.
I guess that's it. You just
Yeah.
watched a music school dropout get slaughtered by a law school dropout. That's it. Is what
Slaughtered
it is.
by
huh?
a Zerg
What
army.
are you gonna do?
Slaughtered by an army of Zerg.
An ex-Catholic slaughtered by a proud Muslim warrior invading Detroit, Chicago.
Jihad,
Where
you
was
just
it?
got suicide bombed.
Basically,
Hello.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is awesome. Well, then this is and now we're gonna do this for the rest of our lives. This is your new home
Is that
forever.
purpose? That's meaning to you? Is the
No, this is your new prison. We've built a prison around you here on Cozy TV, and we'll all be doing this until we die. This is your new home. Well, welcome to Cozy.tv. No, I like it. I think this is a great dialogue we have. I think it's a very productive dialogue.
You really feel that way?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I think we're really getting somewhere.
Nick was a good moderator.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I learned from the best, which is not you, of course.
I
but
know it's definitely not me.
Ethan Ralph. Ethan Ralph.
It's definitely not me. I'm really fine.
No, you're great. You're fine. You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job, Brittany. Britney Spears. You're like Britney Spears because she hates Jews now. No, kidding. Because she was cringe and then now she hates Jews. So you're like Britney Spears in that way. That's a joke, of course. No one here hates Jews. We all love
Oh wait,
Jews.
I heard. Is there a second woman on the platform? Is
times
that
where-
true?
Yeah, Lauren Witzke.
Oh my God, you really are a fake incel.
Shut up!
Oh no!
Oh, no, this I can't stand for. I'm a
You're gonna
real
get me kicked
incel.
off, Destiny. What are
I'm
you
a real-
doing?
Yeah, that's it. Report the stream. That's it. Report the stream. That's a violation of our terms of service, Al. You set yourself a 7-day suspension.
Destiny, what are you gonna do for stream here?
I'm trying to beat Elden Ring right now. Okay. Once I finish that game, we'll see what is in store for Destiny. Okay.
Yeah, Reddit cringe. Like Destiny. I just want to say it's so awesome that you say the N-word.
I don't really say the N-word that much, but I'm glad that it makes you feel so good inside, I guess. Maybe is that your meaning? Is that which passage of the Bible is that one? Is that the 11th commandment?
Yep. Thou shalt name them. Yeah. Thou shalt blast ends in the public square. It's sort of like, I'm sort of like going up to somebody and I'm like, you say the N-word. I like that. And Destiny's like, you're going to love me. You're going to love me.
You really are a living Joker, huh?
Yeah, I am like Joker. Thank you for the compliment. What do you think of the Dark Knight? Who do you identify with in the Dark Knight? Do you identify more with Batman or the Joker?
I don't think I identify with either. I think they're
do it. You identify again with
they're very Marvel to me, you know.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, no, it's true. So I just rewatched it the other day. It's pretty good film. Well, I got to. Oh, geez, it's 9:50. I got to start my show. What the fuck?
Yeah, well,
I got to start my America First. I got to start my show. I'm not even dressed.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me. Thank you, Destiny. Thank you, Haas. Welcome to the platform, Destiny. It's great to have you. Welcome, Brittany. You're doing great work already. Haas, you're welcome to stream here, of course. Just let me know.
Appreciate it, yeah.
We'd love to have you here.
Good meeting you. Good talking.
Likewise, yeah, great meeting you. You're a smart guy, and but you got to listen to more Kanye, man. We got to get those listens up. Got to get the listens up, all right?
More Wagner, too.
yeah, more Tannhauser, okay? Yeah, let's get those reps in. Get those reps in.
I agree. I think Wagner's very underrated.
Yeah. No, you're epic. My 3 new best friends.
Wow. Well, you're talking about Justin, right?
No, silly. I'm talking about you, Steven.
Well, I was worried about that Britney thing. You are gonna.
My best friend.
Seit Wochen schon gehen sie auf die Straße, werfen ihr Kopftuch weg und fordern das Regime heraus. Immer mehr Menschen unterstützen sie, denn der Frust im Iran ist über die Jahre gewachsen und so wachsen auch die Proteste. Trotz Internetsperre, trotz brachialem Vorgehen der Sicherheitskräfte, trotz vielen Toten und Verletzten. Folgt Einspieler.
Iran. Seit Wochen Ausnahmezustand auf den Straßen. Zu Beginn waren es vor allem Frauen. Inzwischen fordern weite Teile der Bevölkerung Frauen, Leben, Freiheit. Auslöser dafür war ihr Tod. Gina Masha Amini wurde von der sogenannten Sittenpolizei verhaftet. Der Grund? Sie habe ihr Kopftuch nicht korrekt getragen. Die 22-Jährige starb in Polizeigewahrsam. Seitdem demonstrieren in Iran immer mehr Menschen gegen das islamistische Regime. Weltweit schneiden sich Frauen die Haare ab. Die Solidarität ist groß. Am Samstag gingen in Berlin 80.000 Menschen auf die Straßen.
Frauen lieben Freiheit!
Erst spät reagiert Außenministerin Baerbock, die eigentlich für eine feministische Außenpolitik stehen will.
Ohne Kopftuch das anzuhaben, was man möchte, abends gemeinsam singen und zu tanzen. Dafür werden Frauen im Iran verprügelt, zum Teil umgebracht. Und daher wird dieses weitere Sanktionspaket, was wir jetzt auf den Weg bringen, die Verantwortlichen dafür zur Rechenschaft ziehen.
Gemeint sind damit Einreisesperren und das Einfrieren von Vermögen, verhängt durch die EU zu Beginn der Woche. Wird das ausreichen, um Menschenrechte durchzusetzen? Zumal der Iran Drohnen an Russland liefert und unter Verdacht steht, eine Atombombe zu bauen.
Das ist unser Thema im Presseclub. Heute Frauenrevolution im Iran. Wie soll der Westen reagieren? Und ich freue mich über diese Gäste. Herzlich willkommen, Gilda Sahebi. Sie ist deutsch-iranische freie Journalistin und lebt seit 1987 in Deutschland. Ich begrüße auch Anja Wähler-Schöck. Sie ist Ressortleiterin Internationale Politik beim Tagesspiegel. Herzlich willkommen, Paul Anton Krüger, Parlamentskorrespondent mit dem Schwerpunkt Außenpolitik, internationale Sicherheit für die Süddeutsche Zeitung. Und ich begrüße ebenfalls herzlich herzlich Gordon Repinski, stellvertretender Chefredakteur von The Pioneer. Wie immer streamen wir diese Sendung auch live in den,
Könnt ihr die Fight nicht taken? Gott, wie er sich rumscheucht.
Jetzt, live aus Köln. Der Presseclub mit Ellen Eni. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zum Presseclub an diesem Sonntag. Ihr Mut ist beeindruckend, ansteckend und offenbar immer schwerer zu kontrollieren. Es geht um Mädchen und Frauen im Iran, die gegen die Islamische Republik aufbegehren. Seit Wochen schon gehen sie auf die Straße, werfen ihr Kopftuch weg und fordern das Regime heraus. Immer mehr Menschen unterstützen sie, denn der Frust im Iran ist über Jahrzehnte gewachsen und drückt sich jetzt in immer wachsenden Protesten aus. Trotz Internetsperre, trotz brachialem Vorgehen der Sicherheitskräfte, trotz Toter und Verletzter.
Ruler broke the 2K kill record in the LCK. It took him 5 years to get an LCK title. And here he is. Look at the smiles. Genji. They get it done.
Look at Peanut, the absolute elation. And Doran just bouncing up and down. This is a Genji that have realized they've conquered what has been their biggest enemy in the past.
It could not have been closer. That final fight was down to the tiniest differences. The smallest things changed this game completely here. Chovy Zhonya's, as we saw Dr. flying in there, he flashes in, trying to one-shot this Victor. The Zhonya's there, denying so much of that burst, that even when Chovy falls, Ruler finds his moment. He finds the smallest opening to dash in on this Lucian that could be so easily punished if you miss that. It just takes over the game.
Look at Ruler's face. He knows, I mean, he was everyone that was where Falsi gets a goal.
Or any people he can go back.
That's when they get
this game. Breath between these two teams.
Jesus.
But there's so many impressive moments from both sides, really, that it's just it's one of those series that you want to go back and watch again and again.
I just want it to be played again and again. Especially it's just when pulling absolutely always made
in the top lane. Talk me through it from your perspective. Series and must have taken. Thank you very much. After what was an unbelievable series and must have taken so much out of Chovy, there's so much to talk about. But the first thing I have to ask you is about that final fight that decided it all in the top lane. Talk me through it from your perspective and the elation you must have felt when you succeeded.
네, 우선은 오늘 경기에서 승리 정말 축하드립니다. 정말 많은 것을 여쭤보고 싶은데요.
올라와라.
가장 먼저 이 경기를 결정지은 마지막 탑에서 한타를 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 탑에서 싸웠을 때 초비 선수 관점에서 어떤 식으로 상황을 봤는지 그리고 승리하고 어땠나요?
일단 마지막 한타 때는 빅토르가 이제 레이저랑 궁만 긁으면 상대가 포커싱해서 죽어도 괜찮다고 생각해서 좀 상황에 맞게 잘 플레이한 것 같아요.
So in that final fight, I was like, if I can just put down my laser and my ult, even if I get focused down and just like get 100 to 0, it should be okay. And I played accordingly.
And perfectly in that regard. Now, when it comes to playing Damwon this entire year, it has always come to that decider game, but you've always had the one-up over them. Why do you think in this best of five specifically, when you look across the whole series, you were able to beat them?
언제나 올해 담원기아와 젠지와 담원기아가 만났을 때 계속 풀세트 접전이 나왔고 언제나 젠지가 승리했습니다. 그렇다면 이번 다전제에서는 5경기 중에 정말 어떤 부분이 가장 주요했기 때문에 또 한 번 승리를 가져왔다고 생각하시나요?
이번 경기에서 솔직히 5세트 다 중요해서 저희 선수들 다 열심히 잘 했는데 아무래도 그래도 5세트 때 진짜 집중을 잘 해서 유리한 경기 좀 살짝 엎어지긴 했지만 그래도 잘 마무리한 것 같아요.
So I want want to say all 5 games mattered so much, but at the same time, our players are doing a great job. But especially in the last game, you know, we were having the lead, and then the enemy was able to actually close the gap, but we were able to, in the end, close out the game.
And it got really close in that final game, and the reverse sweep was looming. From a mental perspective, who stepped up in the field before that game 5, and what was the approach to make sure that you could bring it home and not have the reverse sweep completed?
이제 마지막 경기는 사실은 정말 리버스 수입, 역습이 나올 수도 있는 절체절명의 순간이었는데요. 그런 만큼 멘탈적으로 어느 부분에 집중하면서 무대에 오르셨고
Iran. Seit Wochen Ausnahmezustand auf den Straßen. Zu Beginn waren es vor allem Frauen. Inzwischen fordern weite Teile der Bevölkerung: Frauen, Leben, Freiheit. Auslöser dafür war ihr Tod. Gina Masha Amini wurde von der sogenannten Sittenpolizei verhaftet. Der Grund? Sie habe ihr
So I kind of figured I was making a lot of mistakes today, so I focused on, you know, removing those mistakes in my play at some point.
And overcoming that in order to make it to your first semifinal at Worlds. And it has been a year of milestones for you, Chovy. But when it comes to this particular one and making it to the semifinal, what is the importance to you when you look at the story of your career so far?
이제 초비 선수는 또 올해 커리어적으로 놓고 보면 정말 많은 기록을 세우고 있습니다. 그리고 이번 4강이 초비 선수의 첫 월드 4강이 될 텐데요. 이런 측면으로 접근했을 때 어떤 식으로 보고 계시는지 4강에 대한 의견 부탁드립니다.
솔직히 제 개인적인 생각으로는 커리어보다 저의 개인 실력을 더 중요시하는데 그래도 이제 4강에 처음 오니까 되게 기분이 좋고 처음 온 4강이지 기회 놓치지 않게 열심히 하도록 하겠습니다.
Well, I actually want to focus on my performance, not my career, but at the same time, it feels great to be at my first semifinals of Worlds, and I would do my best not to miss this opportunity at semifinals.
Okay. When it comes to the semifinals, you could be up against DRX or EDG. I'd love to know who you think you will be playing and what your preference would be.
이제 4강 상대는 DRX 또는 EDG가 될 예정인데요. 아무래도 준비하는 과정에 있어서 어떤 팀이 먼저 올라올 것으로 예상하고 계시는지 의견 부탁드립니다. And we are just going to prepare accordingly, you know, when we find out our opponents.
Okay, thank you very much. Congratulations.
Longest game of the world. The full 5. Thank you so much, Shucks. And what a series. We went the distance, the full 5 games, and there's no better way for it to end than the longest game of the World Championship so far. Dom1 pushed them every step of the way, but Genji and Chovy, in the end, will not be denied his semifinal. They get it done.
One of the best series ever at Worlds. This is Rock's SKT flashbacks. And I will say this game 5 looked doomed for Damwon. It looked like it was over.
Yeah,
Genji.
you two, the Dom1 pickers were literally on the floor at one point.
Yeah, we were sad, we were crying on the floor. We thought this was as good as done because Genji got a really good early game despite Canyon getting that level 1 invade. They managed to find really good team fights to bring it back, but the problem that they had was this mid-fight where Canyon made this insane play. That's what turned the game around.
It was a spectacular game to watch overall. The fact that we got to see, I believe, Dom1 just not giving up until the very end. The fact that they were at such a disadvantage. They had no reliable front line to play around, which made these fights so difficult. Yet they still found ways.
I was screaming at the television, bringing Canyon into the Dragon Pit, and he steals the Dragon, doing so much.
Canyon, I respected Kobe. I respected Kobe. I want to make sure that if I win the series, I win it in the face of the opponent, having every opportunity to smite things away.
This last fight, everyone held their breath because Genji's cornered. The game's dead.
Literally up against the wall.
And Nuguri is just solo killing Peanut right there. Genji are stuck against the wall, stuck in a blue.
Just watch Ruler. Just watch Ruler in this fight.
It's Ruler that just drives this game home for them. Flashes away from Canyon, manages to get the kill here, Chovy onto him. Showmaker stopwatches, but then Nuguri managed to take down Peanut. Dogdam then moves forward, but they're moving into a Victor, into a Lucian, and it just turns on their head. That fight was so incredible.
Oh my word, there are so many small things you can break down in that fight, but how broken is bot lane, right? Like AD carries, man, unbelievable role. This is just, but Ruler, an incredible clutch play at the very end there.
Yeah.
It was such a back and forth game and such a back and forth series. I really think we got to see what made both of these
Kopftuch nicht
teams
korrekt
so
getragen. Die 22-Jährige starb in Polizeigewahrsam. Seitdem demonstrieren in Iran immer mehr Menschen gegen das islamistische Regime. Weltweit schneiden sich Frauen die Haare ab. Die Solidarität ist groß. Am Samstag gingen in Berlin 80.000 Menschen auf die Straßen.
dieser Menschenrechtsfragen. Ja. Gibt es bestimmte Kritik nicht, weil man Rücksicht nimmt, weil man sagt, ja, wir wollen ja das Atomabkommen am Ende noch retten? Das glaube ich nicht, weil erstens gibt es seit dem Sommer, seit Juni eigentlich keine Verhandlungen mehr. Es gab dann noch Versuch von Josep Borrell, dem EU-Außenbeauftragten, in Gesprächen mit den Iranern und den Amerikanern gewisse Fragen zu klären, die dazu geführt haben, dass es bis heute eben keine Rückkehr zu diesem Abkommen gibt. Die sind eigentlich auch seit August eingestellt. Man hat den Iranern gesagt, da liegt das Abkommen, ihr könnt es nehmen oder ihr könnt es lassen. Das hat man so deutlich nicht gesagt. Und sie haben es bisher nicht genommen. Und ich glaube nicht, dass in Iran die Fraktion, die das wollte, im Moment durch diese Proteste gestärkt wird. Oder dass es irgendwie dazu führt, dass die Führung sagt, ja, also Abdullahian, der Außenminister, hat jetzt so eine Andeutung gemacht, wir kommen euch da entgegen und wir wollen doch. Aber das ist alles sozusagen für die Kameras und nicht in irgendeiner Form mit diplomatischer Kommunikation hinterlegt.
Also das, was Sie vielleicht nur, weil es ja wirklich ein komplexes Thema. Also im August war es quasi eine Neuauflage des Abkommens, war fertig verhandelt auf europäischer Seite, lag auf dem Tisch. Seitdem hat der Iran nicht reagiert und seit Mitte September sind ja jetzt die Proteste im Land angewachsen. Und Sie sagen, das führt nicht dazu, dass die Fraktion gestärkt wird, die für das Abkommen ist.
Genau.
Das heißt also, es sieht schlecht aus eigentlich.
In Iran führt es nicht dazu und es gibt auch andere politische Hindernisse. Dieses Abkommen müsste ja dem amerikanischen Kongress vorgelegt werden in seiner sozusagen geänderten Version. Das werden die vor den Midterms nicht mehr tun. Die sind jetzt dann Anfang November, die Zwischenwahlen. Und wenn, was nicht auszuschließen ist, eines oder beide Häuser des Kongresses an die Republikaner wechseln, dann ist das, glaube ich, für die Amerikaner politisch sowieso nicht mehr durchsetzbar für die beiden Regierungen. Und es ist auch so, dass sich mittlerweile auch bei den Europäern die Erkenntnis weitgehend durchsetzt, dass der Wert dieses Abkommens, also das, was Herr Repinski vorhin beschrieben hat, sozusagen die Schwelle zur Atombombe möglichst weit zeitlich hinauszuschieben, dass das natürlich mit jedem Tag, die das iranische Programm weiterläuft, zusammenschnurrt, dieser Zeitraum. Ja, nicht, weil man dann nicht sagen könnte, okay, das Uran, was ihr jetzt hergestellt habt, müsst ihr wieder verdünnen oder außer Landes schaffen oder sonst was, sondern weil die iranischen Techniker, dadurch, dass sie mit neuen Zentrifugen experimentieren, dadurch, dass sie bestimmte Dinge getan haben, Uranumwandlung, die man braucht, um Waffen zu bauen, haben sie einfach Erkenntnisse und Verfahren gelernt und technologisches Know-how generiert, dass man ihnen mit keiner Form des Abkommens wieder wegnehmen kann. Ja, das heißt, automatisch schmilzt dieser Zeitraum, die Amerikaner sagen, auf ein Maximum von 6, andere sagen nur 3 Monaten zusammen. Das heißt, der Wert dieses Abkommens ist deutlich geringer. Der Wert dieses Abkommens würde sich noch bemessen dadurch, dass die IAEA wieder stärkere Kontrollen